Here. Oh, son. Hello? Give me a microphone. Hey, give me a microphone.
Here.
Hand me a mic. Jeez, give me number 4 over. What the heck? The microphone's not working. What is? Hey, give me a. Hello. Man, this place is just.
Hello.
So hold on. Your microphone position doesn't work.
No. There it is. Now it. Why was my mic unbelievable? What a hell of a way to start the show.
Whoa. What happened?
Yeah, no, my microphone, number 1 in my microphone was not punched in.
Listen, all things considered after the last 24 hours, 48 hours, it's a relatively minor thing. Let's move on.
No, I agree. Yes, thank you, Fester.
All right.
Yeah, life coach Fester. That's what I need. I need Fester, the life coach over here. No, I turn on my microphone, and there's all kinds of buttons up here, and my microphone was out of program 1, and program 2 was pushed. Who the hell changed that from yesterday? Because no one was live in here. After the morning show, no one else was live. Everything, Gino's in Maine or something.
How's he in Maine? I heard him on the air.
Yeah. No. He's doing the show from Maine.
From Maine.
Wow. I don't know.
He's national.
So, who the hell touched the console and pushed buttons? All right. So what was I saying? Oh, at the very onset, what I was trying to say was, I think it was, what do you mean dangerous?
Yeah, the last words I heard before we actually cracked the mics was Froggy. It's too dangerous.
It's too dangerous.
Too dangerous.
Yeah. All right. So Froggy was the only one that didn't make it to the show yesterday. I got here very early because we started our special coverage at 5 a.m. yesterday. So we came on the air an hour earlier than usual. Fester, you were here just after me, so you were here for the beginning of the program at 5 a.m.
It was so good.
Roxanne, you were late. Understandable. What time?
Yeah.
What time did you finally roll in?
I did what I thought was most responsible to do.
Oh, you waited for the sun to come up.
I was waiting for the sun to come up because I'm not going to try to gauge a puddle and flood my car, which, by the way, I don't know if you checked your text messages. Did you see yesterday all the puddles? I had to reroute myself twice coming in.
I did
because
not.
of driving through water. So I came in I left the house at like 7:45 and I didn't get here till 8:45.
So you got here at 8:45?
8:30, 8:45,
All right.
yeah.
I didn't know they showed up that late, but that was fine. You showed up. You made an effort. I've marked you down. You have a little gold star, which I'm going to affix to your forehead a little later on. And then Froggy was a total no-show. Couldn't even reach him on the phone. Just
It's funny. It's weird,
Yeah.
I got up and tried to come, but there was like a big redwood tree on my truck. I was like, damn it.
A redwood.
Yeah, the biggest tree ever fell on my truck.
Yeah, what were you, parked in Eureka, California? What do you mean?
Yes, it was. It's just we planted it back in the 35 years ago, and it's really big.
So of the four of us, or I'll even rope Andrew into this. Of the five of us.
Hey, Andrew, I got to give Andrew, our producer, accolades. Andrew, our morning show producer, he stayed the night before. So he came in on Tuesday night. Hey, Andrew, what time did you actually arrive?
I got in around 8.
So 8 o'clock, and you spent the night here.
Right.
And you were here all night, and you greeted me when I rolled in at 4:30 yesterday morning after my solo drive across the Howard Franklin Bridge.
Who the hell knows what kind of infections and diseases you picked up just from sleeping in this place?
No kidding.
Your lungs are probably filled with mung.
And Roxanne is obsessed with poop water. We'll talk about that. Roxanne sent me 9 stories on poop water. But also, we'll get into this in more detail later on. Let me make a note. Drive home. Yeah, I had an interesting drive home as well because my neighborhood off of West Shore in South Tampa, my neighborhood was rough. We had a lot of Tampa Bay flooding. But, storm surge-wise, if I was above the high tide, if I were to come up with a number for storm surge along Tampa Bay in South Tampa, so south of the Howard Franklin Bridge, so down through Beach Park, down to, the Gandy Bridge, if you look at that chunk of West Shore, and I'm in that zone, I would say the storm surge was about a foot and a half above, because that's how you measure storm surge. Whatever the current predicted tide is, the surge is the number above that current tide. That's how they measure a storm surge. And I would say for instance, the water never came over my seawall. Now, I had some folks across the street, and their seawall's a little lower because their land slopes a little bit. But across from my canal, I saw water over some of the seawalls over there, into their yards a little bit. But, not much. Nothing, I don't think, in my area. Nothing breached any homes or even garages, which are at, slab level, which is ground level. Garages are at ground level. And then, of course, houses after a certain year tend to be built up, and depending on what year the home was built, requirements are different as to how high you had to build per the FEMA flood zone. For instance, when I built my house in South Tampa, I bought my land in 2001. I purchased my lot like 3 weeks after 9/11. I zigged when everyone was zagging, and I got a good chunk of land in South Tampa for a good price because everyone was scared and no one wanted to spend any money. And we took a year to design my house. We designed my house from 02 to 03, and we broke ground in 03, but the requirement was it was A10. Meaning you had to build. Am I boring you, Fester? Because you're rolling your eyes over here.
It's just a lot of information about when you bought a house 25 years ago.
Dude, you
I'm listening. I'm listening. This is very specific detail. Listen, a lot of people have been. This is suddenly all about you and how you were fine when there's a lot of people who have other situations. Froggy did water. I want to know about Froggy's situation.
Water never got into Froggy's house. We talked to Kim yesterday.
It got up into
no,
my
the water
lawn.
rised again.
We didn't know when we talked
we
to
did
Ken.
not know.
The second high tide was not as bad. The concern for what I'm trying to say, Fester, while you're sitting over there rolling your freaking eyes.
Let's use word economy. Let's use word economy sometimes.
You ever listen to yourself?
What the what?
See,
right, so
I missed this yesterday.
So when I built my house, I was A10, meaning my first floor had to be at 10 feet. So my lot is like 6 feet 6 inches. So I had to build another almost 4 feet high. I went even higher. I built my first floor at 11 feet 3 inches. And now it's 8.12. I wish I would have just gone another 8-9 inches, and then I would have been at the current code, but I didn't do that. But nobody in my neighborhood had any water incursion. Even homes that I know of and friends that have older homes where their first floor is essentially on ground level, on the slab level, nobody that I know had any incursion. Now, Froggy, we'll get into your deal because you had water creeping up over your seawall. You're in town and country.
I'm at the top of the bay, though.
Yeah, you're top of the bay. You're in town and country, and you're on a canal, and you guys evacuated. You're in an evacuation zone. So was I, but nobody in my well, a few people evacuated, but most of my neighbors stayed. But Froggy, you had water over your seawall and just kind of encroaching, halfway up your back lawn. It never even got into your...
Well, I did, for an example of how high it was, I put my boat as high as my lift would go. And I was like, this should be good if the water gets this high. I mean, Jesus, the water was at the bottom of my boat.
Wow.
And my boat was at the top of the lift. And I'm like, holy cow. And I don't know, it was like 5 feet from going from the house.
But it sounds like your lift is not that high of a lift, is what it sounds like.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
The boat is just really big.
We're just getting rolling, folks. Schools are all back in session for the most part. Polk County's out. Why the hell's Polk County not in school today?
Maybe they're using their schools for shelters because that's what we got from Hillsborough. They're like, we don't know if we're going to go back tomorrow or not.
But they are.
So
Hillsborough, Pinellas, all the immediate counties other than Polk are back in session. All right, just getting rolling here on the MJ Morning Show. It's going to be a busy, pretty much back to normal morning show. A couple of recap items, a couple of after action items after Idalia. Coming up, but it's going to be a pretty solid show today. Don't move. Pat is out, so Kathy Davis with Traffic MJ Morning Show.
Good morning. Be careful if you are on the road.
I find his voice to be one of the most unique voices, whether it's a singing voice or a speaking voice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I love the Shaggy voice. Shaggy is a kind of...
Doesn't sound anything like that.
I mean, if
He just talks
Shaggy,
like this, yeah.
if Shaggy had developmental issues,
He doesn't go.
What is Shaggy? Is Shaggy alive?
Yeah, I
does-
feel like he was in the news not too long ago.
For what? For what?
Like
Dorito commercials, right?
What do you mean
Yeah.
Shaggy was in the news?
I was in the news.
Didn't he have like the biggest Super Bowl commercial a year ago?
I don't know. Did he have the biggest Super Bowl commercial?
It wasn't me.
It wasn't.
Remember, like you're stealing chips. It wasn't me.
Oh, yeah. I think I do remember that. All right. MJ Morning Show on Q105. MJ and the crew. Oh, it feels so good. We're all back together again. Myself and Fester, Roxanne, Froggy, we're all here.
Oh yeah, I can tell you're all just so happy to see each other.
Do you mind if I address something? And it's early. It's 6:22, Froggy. And I know that Kim, your wife, likes me to stay away from certain subject matter while the kids are in the car when they listen on their way to school. So I do my best to oblige because I don't want to piss Kim off because she could be like stirring up a hornet's nest. So you walked in particularly odiferous this morning.
Oh yeah,
Right? But that's not where I'm going.
that's just my new cologne.
It's called odiferous.
All right, listen,
Odiferous.
it's no secret. Yeah, new from Calvin Klein. Odiferous. Anyway, so I was just curious, during storm prep and during the wait and see what was going to happen with high tides, you know, you're on a canal on the back end of Tampa Bay up in town and country, and your house, you know, right on the water, and your home is an older home. You're built essentially right on slab. Because I've been to your house. Remember when I had to fix Kim's car at 9 o'clock at night?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You made me pay you $150.
No,
for
I
it.
didn't.
I was like, really?
No, I didn't make you pay me any money.
I
Stop
think I
it.
remember.
No, you don't remember
You
anything.
gave me a invoice.
I
I think,
did not
afterwards.
give. I did not give you an
Like,
invoice.
where did you have this printed at? This
I did not give you.
Charged interest and everything.
Well, here's the deal. I'm just curious, Froggy. Now, you are a self-medicating individual. You actually carry an official Florida medical marijuana card.
100% legal. Yes.
Listen, I'm pointing that out. You carry an official state of Florida medical marijuana card. And, you know, when you roll back in from commercial breaks, you'll walk through the door and it's like, I don't know, a blowtorch of burning cannabis. You know, sometimes you walk in the studio, I'm like, whoa, what was that?
I did get a good strain recently.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little more odiferous.
Yeah, well, I've noticed it on. You were here on Tuesday, so Tuesday I noticed you walked in.
It's been a very stressful week.
That's exactly where I'm going. So
You know, my business didn't stop during this. Okay, I had all kinds of crap going
all right,
on.
well, I don't.
Deliveries, just awfulness.
And-
all right, very stressful.
Of course, Froggy's real job these days is running the family's shelving business.
Froggy fixtures.
My question, though, for you is, oh, by the way, I've had listeners saying, yeah, I did a Google search for Froggy fixtures, and I can't.
Yeah, keep looking.
I've had some listeners say, yeah, I wanted to learn more about Froggy's real business now, and I looked up Froggy's fixtures, but I can't find it because that's not the name of the company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Taking over the world. Franchising soon if you're interested. Froggy's fixtures.
The name of the company is ourshelveswillcollapse.com.
What?
So,
Never. Well, that's what you have basic upright wall mount systems for. It would never collapse.
How would that business do? Ourshelveswillcollapse.com.
Yeah, that's the shell company he opened to act like it's his competitor.
Yeah.
Look at our collapse.
Our competition, their shelves fall.
Hey, you know, but that's a big issue. But I'll get back to Froggy in a second. But
yes.
there are like many instances where competitors leave bad reviews online, nasty Google reviews. I heard of a story recently. Michelle can probably remind me. I think it was a restaurant business where they found out the competitor was leaving just bad, nasty reviews. That's a whole different story. So back over to Froggy.
Dude, I have an enemy that owns like company, and I hate this guy so much. I posted on this Yelp that he sells coke out of his work truck.
No, you don't.
Yes, I did.
Dude,
I go, this guy sells coke out of his work truck.
Wait a minute. Is that true or false?
That's true. I have a real enemy out there.
No. He really sells coke?
No, that's a lie.
Well, you can't do that.
Well, I did it.
And you're admitting on the show that you're saying that your competitor is selling cocaine out of
No,
his
it wasn't
work.
my competitor. It's just a person I don't get along with.
But wait
So
a
it had
minute.
nothing to do with business.
But you just admitted to...
Well, it was like 5 years ago. I'm sure the statute of limitations is up fully.
First of all, it's not the statue.
Sure.
It's not like a statue.
It's in front of every courthouse.
It's not a statue. It's a statute. All right? And you can't libel or slander somebody with something that's not true.
Listen, I did it, and I hope it affected him somehow.
Wow. You mean that statue holding the scale in front of every
Yes,
courthouse?
that's the statute of limitations.
Better not put any more on the scale.
No, Lady Justice with the scale is not the statue of limitations.
Yeah, the limit is to how much she can weigh on that scale.
It's a statute of limit. Anyway, Frog, can I get back
Is that
to...
when a statue sneezes?
All right, let me get back to where I was. Is this going to morph into those doofy guys that are painted gold and silver and going...
They have a little mouth motor.
The robot guys, you know. All right.
But yes, at some point when I was alone doing work, of course I would have Medicaid here and there. Yes.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because if you were all stressed out...
Yeah. I'm not a pill guy.
How about yesterday, though? You know, you didn't come into work yesterday.
I was up all night worrying.
It was a stressful, worrying day. So did you this is my question. Did you self-medicate more than usual in the lead up to Idalia and during the high tide periods yesterday?
Yes, but I had to take it a different way because I had to kick in quicker.
What,
so,
rectally?
Yeah, I keistered it.
What do you got? You got a butt bong?
Yeah, I keistered it right away.
You got a butt water bong?
If you inhale hard enough, your keister could do all the work for you.
It's a marijuana enema bomb. It's a bong.
It's a butt bong.
That's what I said. It's a butt bong.
Oh my God, is that invented?
A butt bong.
You can't get drunk through your butt, can't you?
And it's not on your
No,
breath.
no. Well, the drunk thing, that's
Butt chugging.
Remember Julian?
Yeah.
Butt chugging, that's right.
Yeah, that was Julian. We learned that from Julian.
My son Julian, they had, by the way, can you look at the camera quickly? Just look at the camera. Grab a, no, stop. Don't rub your face. No, don't rub your face. Look, Andrew, do you have Roxanne's camera up? Look right at the camera. No, you just had like, you had like a big bit of concealer under your eyes.
So let's
rubbed
show
it
everybody.
In yet.
Well,
she's getting ready to hit right field.
Well, go ahead and rub it. No, that's what it looks
It's a work
like.
in process.
It looks like, the athletes that have the anti-glare stuff.
There's
except,
a glare in here.
Except this is skin tone versus the black stuff that they put under their eyes
Get out there, Wilder.
to minimize the glare.
Hustle.
Let's go. Shot, right field.
But Julian, my son, he was on the air with us a couple months ago, and he was telling us about this seminar. They brought in some motivational speaker guy, and he's talking about not drinking and doing drugs, and he does.
His message was anti-drinking and drugs.
Exactly. So not doing drugs and not drinking and self-control. And this dude apparently did like a 15-minute chat about butt chugging, about.
We actually introduced the kids to it.
So
they didn't know about
the
it.
kids didn't even know about this, and suddenly now they know about putting alcohol up their butt. And it's called butt chugging, and everyone was like, "What?" And the teachers, the headmaster was like, "Oh my God, we got this guy talking about butt chugging."
See, sometimes those seminars can backfire because the kids are in the audience going, "Well, you survived. You're here now to tell the story. That sounds kind of fun."
So, Froggy, if you want to experiment with marijuana up there, we can call it bud chugging.
I did over the last couple of days. I told you.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You don't need to ask him. No. You prepare for high tide by getting high.
Oh, that's a good point. High tide.
That's what the Blondie song's about.
Yeah, and this was crazy. The Tide is High by Blondie was actually scheduled yesterday, and we didn't.
Oh my God! Come on!
I swear it was in the computer because we typically play like one song after the commercial breaks. Just a little more time to get everything back together, and we do the hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ. So we typically have like one song after a commercial break. And yesterday, one of those scheduled was The Tide is High, as we had like the 212 high tide here in the Tampa Bay area yesterday morning. And then we had a 3 o'clock high tide yesterday morning. And then we had like the 212 high tide yesterday afternoon. And that's what everyone was concerned about. Everyone was concerned, and that was the king tide. That's where the tide was going to be naturally higher. And it turned out that and this is amazing, and I'll get into this later on, but because a lot of the streets in my area in South Tampa were flooded, and TPD were blocking off streets. But interestingly, the tide, when it was high yesterday for the king tide, about 2 o'clock, we actually had the water receding out of the streets during that king tide. And it didn't get higher, which is interesting. All right, we're just getting rolling. Clearly, folks, we're starting to get back to normal here on the MJ Morning Show. And to prove that point, early morons in the news next here on the MJ Morning Show. So stand by. There is a new name that you... And it's the Bronze Radio Return, and that song's called Light Me Up. And I heard this thing in the commercial. I'm like, what was that? So I rolled the TiVo back, and I hit my Shazam, and it comes up as Bronze Radio. So I put it in the rejoined bin in rotation here is what I did.
A regular Phil Spector over here. He likes the voice. He likes the sound.
Speaking of medical things, this being used in the Advent Health commercial.
Yeah.
Somebody on the morning show is having a very serious medical procedure today.
You can't talk about my OSHA situation, you idiot.
Okay, maybe it's not serious.
Wait a second. OSHA?
It's serious.
It's not OSHA. It would be HIPAA.
OSHA.
Sorry.
OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
You're breaking your hippo oath, hippo boy.
OSHA. OSHA's like when you run a really dangerous warehouse and employees are like having, forklifts, run them over and crap.
OSHA is who you don't want to come to the shelving factory.
Exactly.
Froggy fixtures, yes.
Yeah, keep OSHA away from the Froggy. So who's having a very serious, sounds like Froggy.
I'm not having serious. I'm just having an annual physical, and I can't have coffee yet. It pisses me off. That's it.
Wait, you're having a physical or you're having a colonoscopy?
No.
What
It festers. No, I'm not having a colonoscopy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Fester is saying that you're
I don't
having.
know what he's talking about.
Well, hold on a minute. I want to know what's going on here because Fester is saying that you're having a very serious medical situation done today, and you're saying it's just a physical. There's a discrepancy
So
here.
hold on. I was going to back off of very serious, but then Froggy jumped my ass about OSHA.
Yeah. Well,
Fester,
spouting out lies like always.
What are you talking about, Fester?
Froggy's this extra special kind of ornery this morning, kind of giving me side eye and giving me snarky comments all the time. And I was like, relax. And he's like, I haven't had my coffee. I can't have any coffee. I'm having blood work done later today, and he's on a fast.
Why would you say he's having a very serious medical procedure? No, that would be like an appendectomy. That would be like, having some kind of a gigantic lesion taken off your spleen.
And Fester, we deal in specificities around here.
Why would you say a very serious medical procedure? That he's going for a physical or having blood work done? Why is that serious?
Physical, go number 1 in a cup. Let me look in your
Why'd you oversell it?
throat. Yeah, it was a major oversell. Who are you, Hulk Hogan? Oversell everything, you idiot.
My friend Froggy, brother, he's having a very serious medical procedure today, brother. He's having a skin tag removed. Oh, yeah.
Unless you're backing it down.
I was going to back it down. I was just like, oh, he's having a very serious thing. And then you were going to say, oh, it's not that serious. We're going to go back and forth, maybe make some jokes. But then Froggy had to bust my chops off being an OSHA representative.
How about not saying that just having a physical and blood work, it's not serious. That's routine.
I didn't even mention it on the show. I just told Fester personally.
Let's start the whole thing again. Ready? Hey, MJ,
Yeah.
I hear Froggy's having some blood work and a physical today.
Okay, that's a fact.
No. If you wanted to actually tone it down and deliver it in a similar toned down fashion than what you did, then you would say, hey, MJ, I want to let you know that Froggy's having a very routine and mundane procedure done today.
Or if you wanted to,
that's what.
I'm just having blood drawn.
Set something up. You could do it like this. You could be like, hey, MJ, have you noticed somebody in the room's pretty cranky? There's a story behind it.
That's right. That's great.
I couldn't
Rob.
even have a 5-hour energy. I'm about to punch somebody.
Everything that Froggy Well, here's my other question about you having blood work done.
Yes, sir.
What else is going to appear in your blood work that you've?
It's not a drug test. It's
you're
blood work.
so dumb.
I don't know.
No,
Tape this guy's mouth
dude,
shut.
it's not a drug test. He's having cholesterol,
They're gonna check my
triglycerides,
fatty cells or whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that there might be what you're referring to in his blood, it needs to stay in there on a regular basis. Otherwise, it's not an accurate sample.
T cells. Let me get to morons of the news here.
Please, don't worry talking about my medical situations. You'll be hearing from my lawyer about
one
that.
final thing.
Yes.
What you need to do, Froggy, or anyone who needs to get blood work, I get blood work done somewhat frequently, and I schedule my blood work at like 2 or 3, so you can have a cup of coffee because you only need to fast for 8 hours.
Interesting.
Thank you, Roxanne. Can I point something out? That
Yes.
Fester is the eye roller on the show lately.
Yeah.
Fester is critical of everyone. Fester on some of my content is rolling his eyes like, oh my God.
Okay.
And you are the biggest derailer and the biggest nothing burger blabber on the show of all time. And it's getting worse.
The biggest?
It's getting worse lately.
Look at him. He's not rolling himself.
biggest?
No eye rolling when he's talking.
You're getting worse lately. All right, moving along.
All right.
I laughed out loud when I saw this. I had this earlier in the week, but of course we had to deal with some hurricane crap. The driverless shuttle, which just went into service in Orlando, crashed.
Oh, no.
A brand new self-driving shuttle bus crashed into another vehicle in Orlando 2 days after it made its debut. The Swan shuttle over in Orlando, and that's the Swan, SWAN, which is short for shuttling with autonomous navigation. Can I get an acronym for crash? It collided with a full-size bus.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah, the autonomous shuttle in Orlando, driverless, runs on its own, smashed into the back of a full-size city transit bus. Second day operating. Yeah. Hey, that's a good little operation you got going on over there, Orlando.
For real.
Yeah. And the crash was even caught on camera by a passenger who was testing out this new city hyped service. Hey man, we're autonomous, man. It's battery powered. It's we're going green. It's self-driving. You don't need a driver. Yeah, we can cut out jobs here. Yo, yeah, this is great stuff. Yeah, let's fire a bus driver with our new autonomous self-driving bus. And the damn bus smashes into the back of a real bus, which is operated by a driver. Did the real bus with the driver crash? No. Did the highly touted new autonomous self-driving shuttle bus crash? Yes, it did.
Please call it the Swan.
The Swan shuttle. Yeah, the Black Swan. You know what a Black Swan event? A Black Swan event is something. It's a lot of times used in the financial space
and ballet as well.
Oh, that was it. Was that? Yeah,
that was a movie.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, wasn't there some kind of scene where they're plucking hairs or something?
I think so. It was a torturous.
Yeah. Like
there are a couple of distributing scenes.
Yeah,
in the movie, I remember right.
Black Swan. I remember that.
Still a hot
yeah, the
movie.
crash was caught on camera. Listen, the guy posts this. Tried out the new Swan Shuttle autonomous shuttle in downtown Orlando today. We crashed. Sean Gallagher is the dude in Orlando that was on the shuttle and posted the video. Yeah, the footage shows a female shuttle passenger pressing a touchscreen just seconds before the driverless bus sets off. Moments later, passengers can be heard saying, "Whoa, whoa," as it smashes into a city bus. It's swiped the side of the shuttle bus. In the process, both vehicles had cosmetic damage. No passengers were seriously injured in the mishap. But that's what you call morons in the news, man. That was a second day on the job, and your self-driving shuttle is in an accident, which wouldn't have happened if you had a real human being operating your stinking shuttle. All right, what is the time here? 6:49. I got a lot of other morons. I'm going to carry over a couple. I've got a warning. I've got a ding-dong ditch warning. You know, ding-dong ditch?
Yeah, who hasn't played that?
You know, or what is the other name for that? Ding-dong ditch or something?
I don't know.
Ring and run. What do you mean you don't know? Ring and run. It's either ding-dong ditch or ring and run.
Yeah, I've only called it ding dong ditch.
Right,
Me too.
But ring and run is another one. All right, I've got a warning if you're thinking about ding-dong ditching, all right? And we'll get to that next on the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. Today is... knowing that we're going to talk about Ding Dong Ditch here, talked to me just a second ago about some kind of prank that they were going to pull, and you talked Dig Dug out of this, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we cooler heads prevailed. Just kicking some ideas around.
Hold on. We can morph into this. This is kind of interesting. Roxanne talking to me about this just seconds ago. You never know what kind of content's going to pop up. What do we have? We got a flood warning for DeSoto County. I'm just looking at our special events and emergency warning scrolling board here in the studio. National Weather Service issued a flood warning for DeSoto County. So heads up, I just saw that flash over here. Hey, so Ding Dong Ditch. Welcome back, folks. MJ Morning Show, 7:02 here on a Thursday morning as we get back into normal. We'll have some after action. We'll have some recap coming up during the course of the show. I had a rough time getting home to my neighborhood yesterday. I could not drive to my house yesterday. So after we left the show, I could not get all the way to my home. I had to park down the street. And I'll explain that coming up in just a bit. So, Ding Dong Ditch, it's all fun and games until you get the crap beat out of you.
Yeah.
So, the Ding Dong Ditch or Ring and Run, and I had this earlier in the week, but of course we were kind of in hurricane mode. But you're going to love this. A Delaware state trooper is under suspension for beating a 15-year-old kid to a pulp after the kid Ding Dong ditched his house. The teenager named Jaden suffered a broken orbital bone around his eye. Ooh. The Delaware State Trooper hit him in the face so hard, broke his eye socket. That's the orbital bone. That's the eye socket, right?
Yeah, that's a bad injury.
Oh my God, that's got to be painful. It's going to require surgery. Oh, look at Fester's feeling his eye socket right now.
It's in there. That sucks to break that.
Fester's just feeling up his eye socket.
A lot of boxers bust those up.
You're running your finger around your eye socket there, Fester?
Stop fingering your socket.
I've never really fingered this particular socket for any length of time.
Imagine that even if you push it a little bit, it kind of hurts.
Fester's groping his socket right now.
Oh, your socket's actually really fat.
Oh. What was that band back in the day? Toad the Wet Socket?
Yes.
Toad the eye socket.
Toad the Wet Sprocket, right? What's that?
Terrible.
Man, this is awful. So the kid's going to require eye surgery because his bone is busted. He had a concussion, cuts and bruises. Parents say that it was just an innocent adolescent prank that was blown way out of proportion. Bruises all over his body, all over his chest, all over his back. According to the family's attorney, Samuel Davis, the teenager's face was so swollen.
That's right. His face was so swollen, babe.
The guy's name is Sammy Davis. What's his son's name?
His son's name is Sammy Davis Jr., babe.
No, the attorney's name is Samuel Davis.
That's right, babe.
I'm guessing that he doesn't.
That's my legal name, babe.
I'm guessing that he doesn't go by Sammy Davis. He goes by Samuel Davis.
If your name is Samuel Davis, how do you not run with Sammy?
I know, right?
And also, the fact that the kid's eye socket's broken and Sammy Davis Jr. had a fake eye.
Glass eye.
He had a glass eye.
Oh,
babe. Yeah. Hey. So the face was swollen on this kid. The pictures are terrible. And it turns out that Jaden and his three friends, they were just playing a fun old game of Ding Dong Ditch. And they picked the wrong house. They picked a Delaware State Trooper's house. And this guy came out and started beating up the kids. Yeah, see, you're not doing it right. You're supposed to be able to ding dong ditch and get the hell out of there and not let somebody catch you.
Yeah, that's a game for somebody who could run fast.
Yeah, about 45 minutes later, the trooper tracked down the kids and aggressively arrested the group, and the kids were roughed up. The boys were cuffed, detained, none of them charged with a crime. It's going to be the state trooper that's going to be in the most trouble here. Because really, Ding Dong Ditch, what are the charges on Ding Dong Ditch? He didn't kick his front door in. That's an issue that's been going on. You've been having like these Tik Tok pranks where kids are banging on doors or kicking in doors in the middle of the night. That's dangerous. You want to talk about something going even more south than this, and that could be getting shot. if you kick somebody's door. Look at Fester's got the pictures of this kid's face. This kid, it looks like he was punched in the face by Rocky.
Dude, how big was the guy?
Just pummeled this kid.
It's not like he did the flaming bag of duty. I mean, this is not even. It's a doorbell, ring and run.
Listen, this goes back to keep screwing around and find out what's going to happen. This kid learned a very valuable lesson.
Have you seen the video of the kids who were ding-dong ditching a house that was caught on a Ring camera? And then the kids were just walking home from school, and then one kid afterward comes and goes, listen, I'm sorry about my friends. They're a bunch of idiots. Listen, I'm a good person, and I don't ding-dong. He starts talking and preaching in a Ring doorbell. He's like, my friends are dumb. Don't listen to them. It's very sweet.
The kid's just talking to the Ring doorbell?
Yeah, he came in and said that his friends were being stupid because they ding-dong ditched the house.
But also,
he came in and apologized afterwards.
You also, if you're a ding-dong ditcher or if you're a ring and runner, you don't do it to a home with a Ring doorbell because you're going to be caught on video.
Exactly.
Every house is sort of a camera at this point, really.
It seems that way. And then another story. This is here in Florida. I thought this was a great little follow-up to the Delaware ass-whooping for Ding Dong Ditch. There is a Florida family here in our state. This is down in Fort Myers, so just south of the Bay Area here. There is a family that says that they've been terrorized by a group of teenagers who have pounded on their door at all hours, middle of the night, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. They claim that the teenagers have just beaten the crap out of their front door. So can you imagine 3 o'clock in the morning and it's someone's just bashing on your door? Family says it's been happening for over a year down in Fort Myers, middle of the night. They're fast asleep, and suddenly they're jarred awake because their door is getting pounded on like someone's trying to bash in their door. They're kicking the door with their fists, or they're kicking the door with their feet, banging on the door with their fists. Family says we're on edge every single weekend.
They haven't got a camera yet?
Well, they should. I find myself looking out the window to see if I can see anyone approaching the property. Family says that they've been there is video. So there is video. Local police have speculated the attack stemmed from one of these social media challenges, these stupid challenges, because we've had the door kick-in challenge. That's another one of these dumbass TikTok challenges where these kids are kicking in people's doors in the middle of the night, and that is a great way to get shot, is to kick someone's door in. So,
have we considered a ghost?
It's not a ghost. There's video of the kids pounding on the door and jumping and doing like roundhouse kicks on their front door.
Do they look like ghost kids?
No, they're not ghost kids. They're real kids that look like they're 14 years old, 13 years old.
Not cool, man.
Is what they look like.
There's a scam going on, or maybe this is like 6 months ago. I heard about it from one of my neighbors.
That was weird. What happened to your microphone?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like you were like ducked for a second there. Weird. Oh, strange. All right, go ahead.
It was a ghost.
All right, so let's talk about what you were talking to me about.
Okay.
Before we came back live, we were in the break, and you were mentioning.
Yes, I'll tell you that story. That's a little more humorous. Let me put the quick PSA out there.
Okay.
Yes.
Someone went to a neighbor's house, kids did, and said, banging on the door, bang, 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 bang. You've got my cell phone. You've got my cell phone. I'm looking at find my cell phone app, and it's in your house. And they just kept doing this. And so, obviously they called the police. But watch out, that's a scam. So the police told them, this is odd.
Now, you just said bang, bang. Isn't that a lyric out of the B-52's Love Shack? Bang, bang, bang on the door.
It's only 2 bangs.
Oh, only bang, bang on the door, baby.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Bang, bang. Can you hear me now?
Was it Jukebox? Honey, or whatever it is, right?
Love Shack.
Love Shack,
Yes.
exactly.
So somebody's knocking on Roxanne's Love Shack looking for their cell phone? Is that what
Not
you're
mine, but
Open the
someone
door,
nearby.
Rock Lobster.
All right, so what's the deal you were talking about? You said, hey, I want to talk about this.
What I told you during the break?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So anyways, last Wednesday night, what was the night before?
Oh, hold on one sec.
What?
Wade Sweikel, the CEO of twocollegebrothers.com, one of our great sponsors here on the show. Wade just sent me a text. I grew up with a kid who got shot playing Ding Dong Ditch.
It's not a game.
Yeah, he just sent me a text.
No.
Yeah.
Jeez, Wade, you got to one up
All
us
right,
all.
so we got a minute and a half here. Go.
Pre-hurricane, Tuesday night. one of
What are
our
you laughing
friends.
We got one upper Wade over here. We're talking about a kid getting his ass kicked, and Froggy's right.
Well, I knew a guy who got shot.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Don, the IT guy, just said he knew a kid that was blown up with C4 plastic explosives. So,
Welcome to the
What
One
up?
Upper Club, boys.
all right. So
Okay.
this is pre-hurricane Tuesday night prep
Yes.
time, right?
We have a friend who moved to South Tampa, and so his name is Jim. And oh, wouldn't it be funny if we went to Jim's house and spray painted his boards that are up to protect his windows?
Hold on. Doug said this?
Yes.
Doug said, let's go to. So wait a minute.
But this is like one of his really close
Boards?
friends.
What-
The things you put up to protect your windows.
Plywood.
Plywood,
Yeah,
yes. The boards, the plywood.
Wait a minute. So
yes.
Jim put plywood on his house in South Tampa.
Yes.
And Doug wanted you guys to go to his house with spray paint cans to spray paint his plywood?
Yes. And right, like, Gasparilla Party 2024 here. We didn't know what we were going to spray
Gasparilla
paint.
party? It's freaking August.
You guys are the friendliest vandals ever.
Go blue. And then he's like, do you think Jim would get mad or you think he'd like it?
How about you
And
draw
then-
a big wiener on that
Wait a
thing?
minute, wait a minute. Tuesday night, as everyone's prepping for the hurricane on Wednesday overnight?
Yeah.
Doug
And then-
wanted to go to South, while everyone's getting ready, he wanted to get on the road and go to South
Yeah.
Tampa and spray paint his friend's plywood window barricades?
Yeah, with our kids. And so,
What?
and then it's like, oh, it'll be on the. We were laughing like, oh, it would probably be on the news. They would show his house with the spray painting. And then we're like, that's
What the hell?
whatever. Okay, so anyways,
Reporting live from South Tampa, apparently some dolt spray painted Gasparilla Party 2024
Yeah,
on this
hey.
unsuspecting man's house.
Speaking of...
Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Speaking of TV coverage, I want to point something out in the next segment
Okay.
regarding some of the TV coverage
All right.
locally during the whole Hurricane Idalia deal. So you clearly did not
yeah,
spray
we did-
paint his house.
We did not because
All right.
again, what if we had to wear disguises to do it? And what if he saw these people that he didn't think were us and shot us?
What
you
a
know?
great lesson for your kids who are, 3 and 6, going in the car during hurricane prep with spray paint cans and vandalizing someone's house. That's great life lesson for your little kids.
That's why you talk about outlandish ideas and you laugh about them rather than execute
They go
them.
back to school. So what did you guys do during the hurricane? Oh, my mommy and daddy, we drove to South Tampa and we spray painted somebody's house. Yeah, that'd be a great show and tell project or whatever. All right, 7:14 at the MJ Morning Show. We start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ next. Man, I'm looking at what we got to do. We've got a pile here. Oh, Ozempic. There are some new Ozempic issues that are cropping up that are very interesting. Things up the butt. We'll talk about that coming up
Ooh, all right, we'll stick around.
in just a bit. Oh, very sad Phoebe news. Phoebe's the flamingo at Tampa International Airport. Yeah.
Wait, was that for real?
Got some. Well, hold on. Roxanne just said, "Is that for real?"
I like all your stuff. I
hold
didn't
on.
even like that because I was like, what is this?
You clearly saw my Instagram post on Phoebe. Hold on. We got a lot of stuff. That doesn't even scratch the surface. We do an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ in minutes. Next, don't move. Hey, speaking of Morning show. It's Q105, MJ, Roxanne, Fester, Froggy, MJ morning show in the aftermath. We'll probably take some calls later on. I mean, for the most part, Tampa Bay area getting back to normal. Still some places that are flooded. I can't see out our window right now because it's all, condensated. But do we still have did the swamp water approaching our parking lot? Did that recede, Fester? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I checked it out this morning, and everything that was in our parking lot, everything that was in the land to the north of our parking lot is all gone.
Okay. I had a rough time getting home yesterday. I could not drive to my house. I'll explain that in just a bit. Hey, while the kids are getting ready for school, whether you're middle school, whether you're high school, listen, even elementary school, I got a little warning here. I think it's very, very important that there are 4 teenagers that have been charged with another one of these stupid TikTok challenges. And this is where you tell teachers you have a bomb or a gun in your backpack? What the? What?
No.
No. What the hell? Hey, Froggy, make sure your kids, how old is your kid Max? Your kid Max is what?
11.
Dude, what are you doing against the wall?
Just sending a real quick email.
What are you doing? Will you get over here and do the show while we're on the air?
Done.
Dude,
sorry.
I'm telling you, you do more for your other company than you do for this morning show these days.
Which
Very, very busy.
I realize that.
Priorities, people. Priorities.
Do me a favor. Listen. Are your kids into the TikTok? Are they talking about these dumbass challenges?
No. They don't do TikTok or any. They don't upload stuff.
Well,
they're not allowed.
No, but viewing it.
No,
right.
no, they don't view TikTok.
Yeah,
Actually, let me take that back. Yeah, they do.
Well, keep them off of it. It's a Chinese spy operation.
Just through YouTube, though. Like, they'll see a TikTok video on YouTube.
So
that's what my kids do.
Yeah, that's a YouTube short that's also on TikTok, but it's through a different server.
But they're not on TikTok.
But also, a lot of the so-called reels or shorts or TikTok, those are ending up on Instagram as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, because Instagram came up with reels to try to compete with the TikTok stuff. But, my kids don't have, listen, Chloe's 22. Chloe's an adult. Julian is 19 now.
I thought Chloe had a TikTok for a while.
Oh, she did, and I told her to delete the damn thing, that the Chinese commies were stealing all her stuff. They were going to drain her bank account, and then she deleted it. But this is nuts. What kind of individual with even a quarter of a brain? Let's say you had an industrial accident and you lost 3/4 of your brain. Even if you got even if you only have a quarter of your brain left. Who goes to school and tells the teacher you've got a bomb or a gun in your backpack? This apparently is one of these dumb TikTok challenges. 4 bomb threats made in Kentucky at some county high school since the school year began just on August 9th. 3 incidents were confirmed to have stemmed from a social media challenge. So if this is happening in Kentucky, I'm sure this is happening all over the place. That there is a dumb challenge where the student tells the teacher, I've got a bomb or a gun in my backpack. Don't do that. Bad. Bad. All right, before I get into some of the hurricane stuff here, and there's actually some very interesting things I want to discuss here. Maybe grab a couple of phone calls. Also, a lot of response from our listeners on our coverage, which we've been doing for decades on the MJ Morning Show. There's another warning for parents. So parents with school-aged kids, listen up to this thing. Parents are being warned that vaping devices are being disguised as school supplies. Did you know this?
They make it look like a pencil or something?
Yeah. Highlighters, USB drives, yes. So this is now a thing that you got to be concerned with. Is that your kids could be vaping. And by the way, you know how many parents are out there, oh, my kid doesn't do that. Guess what? Your kid might be doing it. So there are a lot of naive parents out there that don't know that their kids are vaping and doing even probably worse things.
Here's another clue. If you see like the smoke, the stuff coming out of their mouth, it's not condensation. It's vape smoke.
Are you smoking a 3-week?
What did you just say?
That happened to me the other day. So I was with someone.
What, are you talking about like hot breath on a cold day?
Yes.
Oh, because we get so many of those in Florida, yes.
It was 110 degrees, feels like temperature 3 days ago.
Yeah, it just wasn't someone that I would picture would be vaping. And all of a sudden, like out of the corner of my eye, I didn't see the vape pen.
Yeah, in August, it's not condensate. No. It's not like you're in Vail, Colorado in a ski lift line and you're breathing and you get the
It was so out of place, and all of a sudden I see this stuff come out of her mouth, and I was like, wait a second. No, she's not vaping, is she?
The warning here is that there are now vaping devices that look like colored highlighters. Like those, fluorescent yellow and green and orange and pink and blue highlighters. They're making vape devices that look like markers now. Markers, USB drives, ballpoint pens.
Dude, I saw a kid on a bus stop smoking a 3-ring binder.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is going on?
I saw a kid smoking a pencil sharpener.
You could get away with a pencil sharpener, really, if you think about a vape and a pencil sharpener.
If you did a compass
But
vape,
when
that's dangerous.
You bust out the Trapper Keeper, and you're vaping that.
Yeah, pass it, man.
But, these are Chinese products. Listen, the number one supplier of fentanyl for the world is China. And then it goes through Mexico, gets smuggled in here. Then you have now, I guess these Chinese companies are making these office highlighters, these office supplies to look like a vape device or to look like just regular school supplies or office supplies that are actually vape devices. So heads up, man, parents. You might think your kid is a highlighter. It could be a vape device.
They're getting high on their highlighter.
Yeah, take the cap off. Make sure there's actually that felty kind of, highlighter material inside. Because this is apparently pretty damn prevalent.
Well, I know a couple of vaping ninjas. Like, they're quick.
Yeah.
What do you mean vaping ninjas?
They smoke indoors. You can't even tell. They're smoking their car.
Well, hold on a minute. When you vape, you can tell. There's no invisible vape smoke.
No, but to Fester's point, they just grab it and do it so fast that no one even sees them suck the device.
I see them blow it down like a dragon where it doesn't make a big cloud.
Yeah.
I see people blow it under their desk.
Let me tell you right now that some of those vape plumes that come out of people's face holes, that is some of the most thick white smoke. Look, it's like worse than like trying to crank up some old car.
So it's gotten less thick. I remember when they first started coming out and they were
Dude,
boxes.
it has not gotten less thick.
I was watching a vape competition the other day, and a kid blew out a thing so thick it made it to a heart, and then he shot like a vape arrow through it. And he was pushing it around the room. It was crazy.
Fester, I don't know what you're talking about,
So
but
thick.
I've seen people, and you know what annoys the hell out of me is you're walking into a store or something, or you're near other people, and someone blows out that vape smoke right in front of you while you're walking through it. It's like, what are you doing?
It looks like a little choo-choo train.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the strawberry cream.
Oh,
but,
you stop it. Hey, Kurt, the teacher who we hear from Plant High School's on the line. He calls us quite a bit. So, he always has some, insight into what the kids are doing at school. Kurt, the teacher, welcome back to the MJ Morning Show.
Hey, what's going on? Don't have all the time in the world. I know you guys don't know either, So, Thatcher's right. It's hard to. You almost seem like they can't hide it. It's going to be obvious. But what I tell parents is, you remember when you would hide things from your parents? Well, our kids know how to do it, and they know how to do it even better than you. So what they do is they'll go into a bathroom stall. They'll open up their backpack, and they'll exhale inside their backpack, so there's no vape rising over the rim of the stall.
Over the stall wall.
Yeah. So what every parent should do, and believe me, every parent says, not my kid, it is so bad. Smell your kid's backpack. I know it sounds weird, but if it smells like mint or cotton candy or watermelon, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah,
wow, so the kids are blowing the vape smoke into their, it's a vape smoke trap device.
Because a lot of schools across the county, state, country, they have to have adult bathroom monitors so this stuff doesn't happen. So the kids adapt. They'll go into the stall, and they'll exhale into the stall, so that kind of traps all the vape.
Yeah, into the backpack.
They don't get caught. So, I know it sounds odd, but
next thing they're going to move to scrubber devices like on old coal-fired power plants.
yeah, if your kid's backpack smells like candy and fruits and everything, it's not an air freshener.
All right, parents all over the Tampa Bay area are going to be sniffing their kids' backpacks later today.
My kid takes cotton candy to school every day.
All right,
like
guys.
real cotton candy.
All right, Kurt, the teacher. So school's back for you today, so have fun.
Thanks, Kurt.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Kurt the teacher. He's a South Tampa Plan high school teacher who calls us quite a bit. I think it's great. He always has, good information. That was great info that the kids are exhaling their vape smoke into backpacks now.
Ooh, they should invent a backpack that sucks in the smoke, keeps it in there. Oh my God, I'm going to work on this. Let me write this
like
down.
an exhaust fan backpack.
Yeah.
Like a reverse exhaust fan.
Something to that effect.
Backpack air purifier.
All right, a couple of things on hurricane recap. Hey, I'll grab a couple of calls here. If you have anything in the aftermath of Hurricane Idalia, and listen, look at the flooding that we had. Look at the areas that were flooded. Look at the surge that we had. Now, I still maintain that we did not have the 4 to 7 in most areas that was predicted. In fact, when we had Dennis Phillips on from ABC Action News multiple times, and on Monday and Tuesday, we did hour-long segments with him. And, he, told us about this new experimental product from NOAA, which was a hell of a lot more accurate. So they want to cover their butts, and they want to give you like worst case scenario on the storm surge. And for the Tampa Bay area, it was 4 to 7 feet. But Dennis was telling us about this experimental product. If you went to the National Hurricane Center page and you went to the bottom row of icons, there was the Professor, scroll down. I want to get the actual go back. And it's called the Storm Surge Inundation. And if you go to the National Hurricane Center page and you go to the particular storm and you go to the bottom row, it's the second from the left, and it says Storm Surge Inundation. And you click on that, it brings up like a Google map, and you get to zoom in. You can essentially go to your street in your neighborhood or fairly close. You can see it. And it gave you a color-keyed guide on what this new product was predicting on storm surge, and it was much, much less in the Tampa Bay area than the 4 to 7. Like on my street, it originally was like at 3 feet of surge, and then I got back down to greater than 1 foot above ground instead of greater than 3 feet above ground. So my neighborhood went from yellow to blue before the storm even hit. And it was accurate because I think the storm surge above high tide in my neighborhood was about 1.5 foot, didn't even breach my seawall. My street was flooded in South Tampa. And remember, I told the story that when I left yesterday morning for coverage, and we started at 5 a.m. yesterday instead of our typical 6, when I went out to check the street at 2:30 in the morning, there was no water in my street. When I left at 4:15 in South Tampa yesterday, I had about 6 or 8 inches of water into the street where Tampa Bay was creeping in. And then when I got home yesterday, I couldn't get into the neighborhood. So remember, Courtney Campbell was closed. I made it over the Courtney Campbell southbound 275 at 4:15. I was the only car on the road for most of the stretch. I shot a creepy, eerie video if you want to see it. It's like something out of like some kind of apocalyptic Walking Dead deal. I'm looking for zombies. I'm the only one on the road. The video, by the way, is on my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio. That's Certified MJ Radio. Give me a follow. We're going to talk about Phoebe, the flamingo, here in just a second as well. But when I left to come home, Courtney Campbell was closed in both directions. That's my way home. That's the easiest way to get back to my house. So I took the Gandy because Gandy was open in both directions. But during most of the morning show yesterday, Gandy Boulevard was closed. So coming off the Gandy, before you get to the new flyover, right by the boat ramp where the Coast Guard Auxiliary building is over there, the TPD had Gandy closed because it was flooding from the base of the start of the flyover down to about West Shore. It was underwater. And then by the time that I got home, because we went till 11 a.m., we went 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. yesterday with special MJ Morning Show coverage. And by the time I got there, it was opened up and there was no water in the road. I go up West Shore, so I hook left at the Circle K on the corner of Gandy and West Shore and head north on West Shore. And looking at a lot of the streets, man, the water streets were impassable, especially on the left side, on the west side of West Shore, closer to Tampa Bay. A lot of those side streets you couldn't get down. So I get closer where I live, and TPD is blocking streets. Like you couldn't get down certain streets. It was that bad. They didn't want people driving through it. So I tried to get onto my street, and it was blocked, and then I had to go like 3 or 4 different ways to get back to my house. Finally, I had to drive over grass, and I drove on a sidewalk in order to get close to my house. And then even then, when I got close to my house, because we're right on Tampa Bay, when I got close to I could not actually get to my house or my driveway. I had to park about 6 houses away, and I parked in somebody's driveway who they're out of town for extensive periods, so I know they're not home. So I parked in their driveway, and I had to walk. And my New Balances, I got to get a hold of Kennett New Balance at West Shore. I need a new pair because my 990s were soaked, and I'm probably walking through poop water. And Roxanne's all concerned about the poop water. How many stories did you send me on poop water?
I sent a lot. I wanted you to be prepared.
No, poop prepared.
That's what I was trying to say.
Prepared.
I'm going to be prepared.
Hey, before we get into that, I have a couple things I want to bring up.
Yes.
So one of our texters just hit us up about how happy he was for our coverage and Dennis Phillips, and he's the best.
You're very welcome.
And
I had so much of that. And listen, folks, we don't need the praise, but it is appreciated. We've been doing this a long time, and I get all kinds of emails, and I've got a stack. I didn't print them out, but we had a lot of thank yous from our listeners that, when it comes to hurricane coverage, they can always count on the MJ Morning Show. And listen, it's experience. We've been doing this for a long, long time, been through these drills, been through a lot of this over the years. Since 1994, I've been here. So we've been doing a lot of this. So for those that sent emails, and I know you've gotten texts this morning. Andrew's gotten some phone calls. Thank you. We appreciate the compliments, but it's what we do. The hurricane coverage is what we do.
And talking about Dennis, I go to my mom's house on Tuesday, and we were talking about the storm, and she's like, the only one I trust is Dennis Phillips. You have to listen to Dennis. I said, Mom, who do you think we've been on the phone with for 2 hours every day? Dennis calls into the show, and he is accurate about what's happening and his predictive nature as well. He's who you can trust.
And listen, Dennis
Phillips.
There are
a lot of good ones.
Dennis Phillips and ABC Action News, there are official partners. You've got different partners that deal with the different radio station companies. Ours, we're affiliated with Dennis Phillips at ABC Action News, and Dennis just went above and beyond. We spent a lot of time with Dennis. People were entertained. We were on the phone with Dennis while he was trying to get home yesterday.
So that was really unbelievable. I mean, I know the storm for the Tampa Bay area had mostly passed by yesterday morning.
Yeah.
But we're talking to him, trying to help him navigate through streets. I have Google Maps pulled up.
We were literally live on the phone with Dennis Phillips. He wraps up coverage. What time did he stayed on until like 9 o'clock or so. And then we're on the phone, or 10. We're on the phone with Dennis while he's trying to drive home to Palm Harbor after he's been on the air for like 16 hours straight. And he's getting to, oh man, the road's closed. And we're like trying to get him home. We're guiding him, looking at Google Maps, trying to figure out, and he has GPS, but, still the GPS doesn't account for all the road closures due to, water flooding. All right, speaking of flooding, did you see the dudes? I'd love to know who they are. If anyone knows who the guys are, did you see the two guys on that huge rubber ducky raft floating down Bayshore in South Tampa right behind the CNN Live reporter?
They almost ran into the guy.
I'm guessing they did it deliberately. I'm thinking they were waiting for live shots, but there were two guys on a huge rubber ducky inner tube device floating right down Bayshore, right in front of the balustrade on Bayshore in South Tampa. And I've got some audio here. Listen to this. So this is from CNN. This is the actual audio as the guys in the rubber ducky floaty go by.
So we're going to step away from the seriousness of this storm for just 1 second. You got to bear with me because this is something you don't see every day. Guys, what are you doing? Literally, this is a very new way to beat rush hour traffic on Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa. These guys are kayaking down this major thoroughfare, Tampa over my shoulder here. I mean, look at that. I don't want to minimize the serious nature of this storm, but this is what people are dealing with.
And it's two guys does he have a pirate hat on? Is that a Gasparilla pirate hat? And then this rubber ducky raft. It's not yellow.
It's camouflage.
It's like a camouflage colored inner tube with a big duck head, and I think the duck has black sunglasses on.
I think that's the official Duck Dynasty
It's like that mossy oak looking color.
The CNN guy's in his rubber waders, standing in the middle of Bayshore. And here come these guys in South Tampa rolling down on this. If anyone knows who these guys are, or if you're listening, call us. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. That was the actual report live from CNN yesterday. And then Inside Edition, listen to this. Inside Edition covered the CNN deal with the guys on the ref. Listen to what Inside Edition, the syndicated show, said last night. Listen.
This dude went for a paddle down the main highway leading out of town.
What the hell is he talking about? Bayshore Boulevard is now the main highway leading out of town.
This dude.
We have no idea what we're talking about. Yes.
Words.
Bayshore Boulevard is the main highway out of town. Listen.
What?
This dude went for a paddle down the main highway leading out of town and ended up on CNN.
This is something you don't see every day. Guys, what are you doing? Literally, this is a very new way to beat rush hour traffic on Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa.
Yeah, it's not the main highway out of town.
That's CNN.
That's a hilarious.
Well, Inside Edition.
Inside Edition.
No,
okay.
Inside Edition was playing the CNN clip.
The CNN clip. Okay.
And it's Inside Edition guy that said this.
This dude went for a paddle down the main highway leading out of town.
And then they played the CNN clip.
Gotcha.
Dude.
Yeah.
I love watching the CNN reporter kind of break his character. He's like, guys, what are you doing? Come on, man.
I've never seen this camouflage colored, and it's almost like it's a green camouflage. There's also like a pinkish camouflage.
I think he's wearing like a shirt.
And then the duck has like these big red lips with like black goggles on, or what the hell?
The big red lips are his beak.
Yeah, you heard of a beak? Yeah, ducks don't have lips.
Duck lips, okay. That's not big red lips, the big red beak.
Oh, man. And then there's also the audio is terrible, but did you see there's a reporter up at the Panhandle and he's doing a live shot and all the power goes out behind him during the live shot? Pretty interesting. Oh, incidentally, we spoke about this with Dennis. The models are now not. So update, breaking news. The models are not having this Hurricane Idalia do a loop-de-loop and coming back to Florida. But for a couple of days, some of the models literally had the hurricane cruising up the Gulf, going into the Big Bend, off to Georgia, which it did, off the coast into the Atlantic, and then swinging south and doing a loop-de-loop and just boom, not done with Florida, coming back right at you.
I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that model.
But the new models are not doing the loop-de-loop, so that's a good thing.
Did everybody get texts from their out-of-town friends like in the noon, 1-ish yesterday? Because I got all kinds of texts. I think it was around 12:30. Roxanne, are you okay? Roxanne, are you okay? That must have been when the national news stations were like really hyping the high tide that was going to come in and wipe us all out.
Yeah, that was the king tide. And
Yes.
the king tide, actually, the water on my street receded during the king tide.
Right.
So
you don't know what's going to happen.
So we did not have any additional surge. The worst of the surge was the overnight surge. And we did not have, at least in South Tampa on Tampa Bay, we did not have a surge with the high tide that caused any issues at my house. All right, I'll get into your poop water in just a second. First, though, guess who said, you loot, we shoot? I've always loved that term. And do you know when I first was aware of you loot, we shoot?
When?
Any guesses? When did I first see or hear that phrase, you loot, we shoot?
It sounds like something Sheriff Judd would say, and I would guess back to like after Lake Wales was like the intersection of like all four storms.
Much. That was 2004. Much earlier than that.
Oh, okay.
Nope. 1992, Hurricane Andrew, which hit South Florida, Kendall and Homestead. So 1992, I remember first seeing a piece of plywood, speaking of spray painting plywood, I remember seeing plywood with spray painted words that said, you loot, we shoot. So 1992 is when I first had that come into my lexicon, into my nomenclature. And Governor DeSantis, actually said this yesterday.
There are reports of people trying to loot down in Steinhatchee, and I've told all of our personnel at the state level, you protect people's property, and we are not going to tolerate any looting in the aftermath of a natural disaster. I mean, it's just ridiculous that you would try to do something like that on the heels of an almost Category 4 hurricane hitting this community. I'd also just remind potential looters that you never know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
People have a right to defend their property. This part of Florida, you got a lot of advocates and some proponents of the Second Amendment. And I've seen signs in different people's yards in the past after these disasters. And I would say it's probably here, you loot, we shoot.
There you go. So DeSantis said it yesterday. You loot, we shoot. I fully support that. Any scoundrels, any sickos that would take advantage of a situation, people's misfortune, and they're evacuated and you loot their place. That's it. I've got zero tolerance for that. Yeah, you never know what's on the other side of that door. Go on, punk. Go ahead. Make my day.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Loot my stuff. I'll shoot you.
All right, so Roxanne, you want a platform for poop water now?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, poop water.
Was this
safe.
another endorsement?
Hi. Roxanne Wilder here for poop water.
How
It's
to
great
avoid it.
Great on my skin.
How to avoid it. No, I mean, just don't go out and wade. Okay, when you see people just careening about in the water on Bayshore, you're like, that is some dirty stuff.
Or in neighborhoods, not even on, for instance, on the main waterways like Tampa Bay or Old Hillsborough Bay or the Gulf where you have inundation, but in neighborhoods where you've got large amounts of water and street flooding, I think maybe the chances of poop water goes up even more, but people are walking through this. So chemicals and who knows what kind of animals and snakes and
snakes. Also, you don't know, like maybe something has, like a power line is downed in the water. You can't.
That's another
you
thing.
can get electrocuted. There are a lot of
right.
bad things that can happen. But I had to give my girls the warning last night because poop gets their attention. And
if you see what looks like a baby Ruth bar floating, don't touch it.
Because and kids,
Spalding, don't touch it.
Seriously, kids love to play in the rain. The other day when it rained, my kids run outside.
Yeah.
They're playing in the rain. And that's fine if you're in the driveway and you're not like splashing in puddles. Or if you have toys that have been floating around in the poop water, just get rid of them. Like your rubber duckies floating down the street. Oh, let me save that. No, just throw it away.
Okay, we done with poop water now?
Yeah.
Can we move on? All right, so I think most people took this in jest, but there were a few people on my social media that thought I was being for real. So a buddy of mine is a TPD officer, and he was on the Courtney Campbell Causeway yesterday, assisting with the traffic shutdown on the Courtney Campbell, and he took a picture of a giant cylindrical pink item, and I looked at it. When he sent me the picture, he's like, hey, take a look at this. And when he sent it to me, I'm like, hey, it looks like part of Phoebe, the big giant flamingo in the middle of the terminal at Tampa International Airport. So, tongue-in-cheek, in jest, folks, it's on my Instagram.
Yeah, right. It's an outright lie. Tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek.
It's satire. So this is what I did. If you want to see it, it's on my Instagram. I'm Certified MJ Radio. And if you don't follow me, give me a follow on Instagram because you never know what lie I'm going to tell. No, you never know. Listen, it's satire. You never know what's going to pop up on my Instagram. Like my drive across the bridge at 4 o'clock yesterday morning where nobody was on the Howard Franklin Bridge but me. So my Instagram is Certified MJ Radio. There's this large pink item, this cylindrical pink item on the side of the shoulder on the Courtney Campbell yesterday, and you can see the wave action near the mangroves here on the Tampa side. And this pink thing, minute I saw it, I'm like, it looks like part of the big flamingo, Phoebe, at Tampa International. So I posted the picture from my friend, and I captioned it with breaking news. It is with profound sadness that I exclusively announce the demise of Fly TPAs. That's their handle on Instagram. That I announce the demise of Fly TPA's giant flamingo, Phoebe. Parts of her body were found scattered along the Courtney Campbell Causeway Wednesday.
That's gruesome.
Sources confirm at around 3 a.m. Wednesday, she left the main terminal building to check out Hurricane Idalia and was taken by the wind. Phoebe was just 1 year old and celebrated her birthday with great fanfare last week.
That's right.
R.I.P. Phoebe, so young, you'll be missed. So there are some people, is this serious? Some people were like, no, it's not serious. It's satire. It's just a piece of, like, pink pool raft that looks like Phoebe.
It's a pretty big piece of pink something.
Oh, it is. It's a large piece of pink inflatable vinyl that just kind of looks like a chunk of Phoebe. But no, Phoebe was not blown apart. Phoebe did not walk out of the airport on Wednesday morning to check out the hurricane.
You call it satire, I call it fake news, and I'm not going to perpetuate it, and I didn't even like your post. I like all your posts. And if my kids, you know what?
Fake news. You fell if you thought it was true an hour ago.
So, I mean, I can understand how it might have given some people pause thinking the airport was damaged and it just flew out of the roof.
Wait.
That's not the case.
Roxanne, I think you did say, is that real? Didn't she say that?
Yes. Because I didn't even read it all.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have time for this.
Roxanne even thought this was, that's
Yeah,
right.
I was like, what is he doing?
Early this morning, Roxanne's like, is that real about Phoebe?
Okay, you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth trying to be Mr. Serious Hurricane News, have all the accurate information, specificities, blah, 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 and then put this stuff up. And you know what?
Because people know when I'm serious, and this is clearly satire.
Your account is no longer suitable for children. I used to let my kids look at Certified MJ Radio.
What are you talking about?
Because they're obsessed with Phoebe, and this is gruesome.
I think
it's traumatizing.
Sometimes we assume we might have a smarter audience than we do sometimes.
No, we have a very smart audience.
I know. 98% of them knew that you were being funny here, and you're serious when you're serious.
But it is kind of scary that Roxanne wanted to know if this was serious.
Okay, I only
Phoebe
read
did not walk out of the airport on her own and get blown onto the Courtney Campbell Causeway.
I didn't get to that part. I just read like the first two sentences. I'm like, what is this nonsense?
And again, Phoebe is the giant flamingo that was installed a year ago in the middle of the terminal at Tampa International Airport. Airport, by the way, has been very, very quiet about this. Bo Zimmer from the airport. You know what? I got to call Bo Zimmer.
I'm sure Bo isn't happy with this
because a lot of people are because people are commenting all over my post. So the fact that at Fly TPA is included in my post, I think they're getting notified every time people. Let me call Bo Zimmer. Let me see if. Hang on, Bo Zimmer, formerly a great reporter over at Channel 10, now is in communications at the airport. Let me, hang on a second, let me find a line that's not lit up over here.
ask him what's happening at the airport. Is everything back to normal today?
No, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Hang on, let me call Bo Zimmer, see if he's available on his mobile. Hey, do me a favor. Can you, Andrew, pick up Hot 2 and see if Bo Zimmer can talk to us quickly on the program. Bo Zimmer in communications over at Fly TPA, Tampa International Airport. Give me a thumbs up when at least you're talking to him. Okay, talking to him. Okay. Bo Zimmer available. Bo, welcome to the MJ Morning Show.
Hey there, good morning.
All right, so the airport is back open.
That is correct.
And that opened, yesterday at about 4 p.m.?
Yeah, so the airport first opened to incoming flights. We needed to get all those aircraft back into Tampa. And then this morning at 3 a.m., it's back to a normal operation where you've got passengers able to depart and passengers able to come back in.
All right. I don't know if you saw my satirical Phoebe post, but people are commenting on it left and right. And Roxanne thought that it was real early this morning. Bo, have you seen this yet?
We did see it. A few people shedded a little tear there. But yes, we did see it. Obviously, we can confirm that Phoebe is completely safe in the main terminal.
Thank you.
I knew that you had to see it because so many people were responding, all the comments responding to my text. Some of the comments are like, "This is the funniest thing I've seen all day," and then something, "Is this real?" But most people knew that it was satire. I've got all the smiley faces with the smiles and the tears coming out of the eyes. I'm just going through the comments now. All R.I.P. So a lot of people, 99% of the people knew that this was satirical. But there were a few people like Roxanne that wanted to know if it was real. No, Phoebe did not leave the airport at 3 a.m. to check out the storm and get blown out to the Courtney Campbell.
Listen, this is how rumors get started because, Bo, didn't Phoebe just have like a wild birthday celebration? Maybe she did. Maybe she had too much partying at her party and made a poor decision.
Guess what? On last Friday, right after the show, I had a race to Tampa International because I was flying with Chloe up to LaGuardia to meet Julian and Michelle, to move Julian into NYU on Saturday. Then we had to take Chloe up to NYU to move her in on Sunday. But, Bo, when we left to catch the 11:08 Delta flight to LaGuardia on Friday, we walked right by the celebration. You guys had a whole cake set up and presents and everything.
Yeah, it was a major blowout for a major bird here at Tampa International Airport. Yeah, it was a big celebration. And listen, I mean, this piece of artwork has been celebrated around the world. I mean, people love this thing. It's probably one of the most photographed, art pieces in the city of Tampa, in the Tampa Bay area. So it's been a huge win for the airport.
All right, Bo, is the airport angry at me for my post?
I don't know. I am not angry with you. I can't speak for the rest of the airport, but
because I love Tampa International Airport, and I'm a huge proponent. I think, and I always mention, I think it's one of the best airports in the world, and I just don't want the airport to be angry at me for my satirical Phoebe post.
Okay, well, I will forward that message along to the folks that oversee our art program and our social media guy, because I know he's the one that saw it first, and so I'll let him know that.
Well, what did the social media directors say when they saw my satirical post?
Sicko.
I know that it was seen. I didn't actually hear any specific comments made, but I do know they saw it.
So no one said that bastard MJ, right?
No.
Okay.
At least not to Bo. Somebody probably said it.
All right.
Bo, just a shout out to the bathroom, the family bathroom at Tampa International Airport. It's the most amazing place ever. I take my kids in there and they're like, "Mom, look at this bathroom."
We're shouting out the family bathroom at the airport?
Bo knows, right? It's the best. Isn't it incredible?
They're beautiful. And they're all over the place, too. Every terminal has them. We also have the mother's rooms as well. But it's beautiful, and some of our new bathrooms out at Airside Sea. I know we talked about this before, where we had the America's Best Bathroom contest. Those are beautiful as well.
Yeah, Roxanne takes the kids. She puts out a picnic blanket on your bathroom floors, and they have lunch in there.
Yeah, she brings out ham sandwiches and juice boxes.
Listen, there are these benches in there that literally look like you're in like a sauna in a fancy spa.
No, believe it or not, there are families that bring their kids out to the airport for the day to come and ride the train or to come see Phoebe, and I'm sure the bathrooms are all a big part of it.
Right.
All right. Well, listen, do me a favor, Bo. Talk to the folks at Tampa International later today and tell them that I don't want them to be angry at me with my satirical post, okay?
I will definitely do that.
All right. Thank you, Bo.
And thanks to you guys for being on the air throughout the storm and providing so much critical information. I know people were on around the clock, so thank you so much for that. And we're just so happy. We're trying to get back to normal at the airport, and I know there's a lot of people that need to get where they're trying to go. So thanks so much for all your support.
Hey, listen, a lot of folks that were trying to get back home are now just being able to get back home with all the flights that were canceled because of the storm. Bo, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Have a good one.
All right. And again, thanks to Bo for also recognizing, and tons of people have emailed us. We've gotten calls about, what we did with our coverage. And listen, it's just what I do. We don't
We're
need
heroes.
We
don't need, guys, it's just what we do.
Yeah, we don't need any special accolades.
Although we'll take every one of them.
I'll use it during contract negotiation times.
I texted Michelle yesterday, and I was like, I think your husband is on his way home, and he's in hero mode. He might have to save someone on the side of the road or do something like that.
What do you mean? I had to try to get home myself yesterday with all the South Tampa flooding. So, all right, let's. I think I'm done with the. Let me see. Let me look. Do I have any other pieces? Oh, this is pretty interesting. Let me see if I can find the story on this, but here it is. All right, I got an email. Let me deal with this email. And the subject line caught my attention. And folks, you can email me anytime. My private email, I'm the only one that sees it. My private email is mj@mjmorningshow.com. You can also send me a direct message on Instagram. I'm Certified MJ Radio. Oh, and speaking of the whole flamingo thing and me kind of, tongue-in-cheek, hey, I hope the airport's not angry at me. If you want to see my satirical flamingo Phoebe post, it's on my Instagram right now, Certified MJ Radio. That's Certified MJ Radio. So take a look, read the comments, read my caption. I think it's pretty darn funny. And give me a follow. If you don't follow me on Instagram, give me a follow at Certified MJ Radio. Also, follow The Morning Show, MJ Morning Show on Instagram. So I get this email last night, and the subject line is what caught my attention. And the subject line reads, crappy company treatment during Hurricane Idalia. Okay, you have my attention. Let me read this. MJ, the company I work for was giving me a hard time for taking Monday to prepare for the hurricane and Tuesday to evacuate to Port Charlotte, where my brother and wife live. Has anyone else been given a hard time about preparing and evacuating? This is signed Charlie in Apollo Beach. I'll redact his last name. But Charlie is claiming that the company he works for is all crappy, that they were giving him a hard time about preparing and evacuating. So I guess the question is, are there any other listeners out there that had any issues with their company? Did anyone get a hard time? Or most companies, I would imagine, most companies probably closed early, told their employees, get ready, prepare. This is Charlie saying that his company sucks.
I mean, he's talking about Monday and Tuesday, and most things were open all day Monday and all day Tuesday up until some stores very late.
But preparing on Monday and then evacuating on Tuesday. And he's saying that his company is giving him a hard time. Anybody have an issue, or would you like to praise a company that you work for that gave employees latitude? Any complaints out there? Does anyone have a complaint like Charlie that their company said, no, you can't go anywhere? So what if it's evacuated? So what if we got this, potential storm surge? All right, by any chance, if there's anyone that wants to pile on with Charlie, I'll take a call or two here. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. I know this place, Beasley, they threatened to fire employees if they left early.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This place was great. They closed the office early. They told everyone, go home, prepare, be safe. So our company was great.
Well, you were not great. You wanted us all here.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a receptionist here. I mean, I hold myself to a different standard.
I'm just kidding. But I will say that my brothers were mad at you, MJ. Both of them were like, I cannot believe. My brother with the fire department, he's like, do you want me to call him and tell him you're not coming in?
All right, let's make something.
Give me your brother's cell number. Let's call Roxanne's brother is a fire chief in Pinellas Park. Can we call him?
You want to call Chief?
I'm not gonna drag him into this. This is yours and my thing.
You just dragged him into it.
Both my brothers, my brother-in-law, Doug was like, "Go in, honey, you'll be fine."
All right, so wait a minute. So Doug and I are on the same page. Listen, we've got a public service. Look at the phones. All the lines are ringing here. All right, if it's ringing, Andrew's going to screen the calls. Just let it ring. So wait a minute. Doug is in agreement with me. We've got a public service to do. I got to get on the air. I got to stay on the air.
Of course you do. However,
yes,
you work smart and efficiently during these types of things. In other words, I wasn't worried about getting here at 6 o'clock, knowing that the three of you were here. So let Roxanne come in a little bit later when it's safer to be on the roads and be able to see.
It was the two of us. You actually came in yesterday. Froggy was invisible.
No, I'm talking about Andrew. Andrew was here overnight.
He spent overnight. MJ got here about 4:30. I got here to the crack before 5.
Andrew, our producer, he went above and beyond. He even stayed on Tuesday night. Now, I was going to do the same thing, but I was looking at the forecasting. I was looking at the surge. I was looking at the weather, and I made the decision that, you know what? I was going to come in like at 10 or 11 o'clock at night and sleep here, but I made the calculated decision, looking at conditions, that I think that I could drive in at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is what I did to be on the air yesterday at 5.
Well, there's no chivalry in this room. I get it from my family members.
But wait a minute. So your fire chief brother was angry at me for saying come to work?
Well, this is how it went down. I was like, should I? MJ wants us all in tomorrow. He's like, you're not getting on the road tomorrow morning. And then I said, somehow we changed gears. And then he said something about, I'll call MJ. And I thought he meant like calling the show and tell him what was going on. He's like, no, I'll call him and tell him that you should not be on the road.
All right. So that's your fire chief brother. Who's the other brother?
That brother will get in a bar fight with me.
I don't even know.
I would be more scared of that brother.
Brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law.
Oh, brother-in-law.
Yes.
Oh, well, you didn't. I thought it was how many, you have a sister and a brother?
I have a sister, 2 brothers.
Hold on, you do have 2 brothers.
Yeah, I do. One is an attorney in New York, and then I have the brother-in-law who is he would be the one I'd be the most scared
No, wait.
of.
Do you have 2 real brothers?
Yes, I do.
And then you have 1 brother-in-law.
Yes, I do. The brother-in-law was like, he was texting me all morning.
I'll kill MJ. I'll murder him.
If he's making you do this, I'm going to come get you in my big truck and drive you in. Don't worry, Roxanne.
Teresa's in Pinellas. Teresa, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well. Go ahead.
I'm a school nurse for Pinellas County. I worked all day, my regular job, Monday. Was told about 2 o'clock in the afternoon that I had shelter duty Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., and I had to be at one of the middle schools at 7 a.m. and work until 7 p. So Tuesday, I had to prepare and get myself packed. I had to go from my house to the shelter because in order for me to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning during a storm, I had to stay over.
Are you angry? Are you angry at your job?
I'm a little peeved because of the lack of communication. Other counties knew their schools were going to be closed. We didn't know until 2 o'clock on Monday afternoon. We didn't know that we were going to have to go back to work first thing this morning. I got home about 5.
Yeah, well, listen, the schools are open, so of course you got to go back to work.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to work, but...
All right, Teresa, listen, bottom line, are you going to tell them to take this job and shove it? Are you going to go work at some 24-hour care place on the corner?
I am going to look at other options.
Wow, look at that, really?
They might help you with that today.
Teresa, Teresa, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you listening.
MJ, some jobs you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm a radio broadcaster. I know that I'm coming in here come hell or high water. I mean, literally come hell or high water. Heather's in St. Pete. Hey, Heather, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, Heather.
So I am calling because my daughter during the last hurricane was fired from her job because her laptop wasn't charged. So she couldn't work from home.
What the hell? So the power went out and the laptop wasn't charged. They fired her?
Yep.
What kind of job? What type of work?
She was doing rehabs for people that were in the hospital and needed to go to rehab. So she would help them find a rehab in Pinellas County.
And they fired her because her laptop lost charge.
She might have a lawsuit.
That's terrible. Did she find another job or is she still unemployed?
She was unemployed for about 7 months.
Holy crap. So what does she do now?
She completely changed jobs. She works with special needs children. She went back to that.
Well, that sounds very rewarding. Thank you very much, Heather. Have a great day. Christina's in Brandon. Christina, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. So what's the story, Christina?
All right. So I'm an insurance agent. So on Tuesday, our boss let us leave early at 2. Now, I live in Brandon, but I work in Bradenton.
Oh, wow.
So, me having to do that drive was, pretty easy Tuesday at 2 o'clock. So I was able to come home, prepare, and then he expected everybody to be back yesterday at 9 a.m., weather permitting. So I texted him, and he told me, wait until it's safe because Hillsborough County had that stay inside thing until we tell you it's safe to go out. And I live by the Alafia River. So yesterday was not a fun time for us because it did do a little bit of flooding there So it wasn't safe for me to go. But I just wanted to give praise to my job and my boss because he did allow people that weren't able to come in to be able to take the time to be safe and not jeopardize anything for, even with the insurance industry that I'm in.
Well, listen, insurance is a mess. I was canceled by my homeowners. Don't even get me started on insurance right now. Insurance in Florida.
You want them there at the time of the claim.
Let me tell you right now, insurance in Florida is an absolute disaster zone before anything strikes. Christina, thanks for the call. All right, one more on this. I got to move on. Jamie is next on the MJ Morning Show. Jamie doesn't want to give too many details. Jamie, what's the story?
Hi, MJ. Yes, so I work for.
Hey, Jamie, do me a favor. It sounds like your phone is up your butt. Can you talk a little clearer?
How about this? Is better?
Yeah, it's better. You've just removed the phone from your butt. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are butt-free dialing now. Go ahead.
Close to your mouth.
Yeah.
So any of the county governors, doesn't matter specifically which one that I'm at, but any of the county governors, and I've worked for two, anytime there is a emergency like this situation, regardless if it's a category 4 or 5, and theory don't go that route, we have to be here. So our families can leave, but when the storm passes, we have to show right back up to work. And it doesn't matter if our properties are damaged or anything. We have.
Hey, listen, I heard the story yesterday about a TPD officer. His whole home was flooded, and he had a job to do.
That's right. And I mean, on one hand, I do get it because we taking up to serve the community and the taxpayers. I understand that.
Yeah, listen, you know what you do for a living, and you know that you're expected. Just like I know that I have to be on the air doing coverage and communicating information to our listeners that might lose power, needed to listen on a battery-powered radio, whatever. Hey, thanks for the call, Jamie. Appreciate you checking in.
With most jobs, you know what you're signing up for.
All right, before we move on, and we got, speaking of stuff up the butt, we got to talk about that. And then I got another little sensitive item I want to talk about here in just a second. First, though, did you hear about the Air Force guys that got a load of
One of the worst movies ever made?
Oh, well, you know what? It doesn't hold up. We watched it with the kids a couple of summers.
They're so obnoxious and annoying.
Yeah, you know what? Some of those movies, like Breakfast Club, that holds up.
It does.
St. Elmo's Fire, the movie, does not hold up.
Oh, the dramatics of being one of their friends.
The song is still great, though.
Yes, it is.
The song, I still like that song.
The restaurant, yeah.
Well, no, it's the restaurant's not called St. Elmo's Fire. It's just St. Elmo's, the steakhouse in Indianapolis, right?
It burned down. So
what am I talking about? My clue to you was: did you hear about the Air Force guys that got a load of this? Don't cheat.
I don't know.
Do you guys know what St. Elmo's Fire is?
The restaurant?
It's not the fire. There's no fire there. All right. An Air Force crew got video of a rare St. Elmo's Fire. That term comes from an event. It's an atmospheric event called St. Elmo's Fire.
Okay. I'm not cheating. I knew it had to do with the atmosphere because it's based off of something else. Yes.
Yeah, so this is really cool. Video captured by Air Force pilots evacuating ahead of Hurricane Idalia. The video's gone viral. The stunning phenomenon isn't really lightning, though. It's St. Elmo's Fire. The storm appeared to create bolts of lightning sparking out of the aircraft.
Wow.
And the phenomenon usually occurs during a thunderstorm when a very strong electrical current comes in contact with a sharp object like the mast of a ship, tip of an airplane wing. So they actually caught St. Elmo's Fire as they were up in the air. This Air Force crew. Yep. So the video is shared by MacDill. So video shared by MacDill Air Force Base right here in Tampa shows an airplane experiencing St. Elmo's fire. Listen to this. All aircraft on the installation have been evacuated, secured in preparation of Hurricane Idalia, states the post on the platform formerly known as Twitter. During the evacuation, the 50th ARS recorded St. Elmo's fire, a weather phenomenon in which luminous plasma is created in the atmosphere electrical field. So that's pretty darn cool. And this was from the at MacDill_AFB Twitter feed. So it's kind of cool that the St. Elmo's fire is from one of the airplanes leaving MacDill Air Force Base.
And the pilot's name was Rob Lowe, and the co-pilot was Emilio Estevez.
And then on board was also John Parr. He started singing, man.
Was Demi Moore there?
No, but Ali Sheedy was.
Oh.
Yeah. Judd Nelson?
Judd Nelson was there
Judd
playing
Nelson,
his stupid sax.
Andrew McCarthy was there.
Break that thing.
Andy McDowell.
Oh, that movie's awful.
It just reminded me, MJ, I have to bring up something because we're talking about MacDill. And one of the texters hit me up and was like, isn't it great that we live in Tampa Bay?
Don't bring this up. Okay. Don't bring this up. This is so dumb. This is so...
Confessor? You are such a
it's up to
jerk.
MJ.
I have
He
no
wanted to
idea.
hear it.
She
I think
mentioned
he
it to
wants
me
to
off.
hear it.
She mentioned it to me off the air, and I was like, Roxanne, that is ridiculous.
Hold on.
I didn't say it's my idea.
I know
wait, stop. I need a ref's whistle.
The barometer's spoken.
Stop. So Roxanne is trying to get a word in here and deliver some kind of content, and Fester, you're trying to cut her off at the pass.
Listen, this is not Roxanne's original thought. What I mean by that is a texter presented this to her as a legitimate theory. Roxanne shared it with me. It is so dumb.
So you wait a minute. So you said Roxanne don't talk about this, and Roxanne is talking about it. I'll tell you what. All right, so Fester, you say no. Roxanne, you say go. I'll tell you what. I will be the referee. I will be the arbiter. Go ahead and tell me what Fester doesn't think you should talk about.
Even if this is completely erroneous, it probably is. It's still fun to talk about that people have these ideas.
Well, tell me.
Let's find out.
Tell me.
Well,
Fester, which way you think I'm going on this?
I have no idea.
All right, let me hear it.
Supposedly, allegedly, the reason the Tampa Bay doesn't get hit by hurricanes, according to one texter, is that MacDill has the technology to swoosh them away.
There's some kind of there's a beam that MacDill Air Force Base sends out.
They just said,
is it MacDill or McDill?
MacDill.
Well, you say Hawaii stupid. You say all kinds of stuff stupid.
It's McDill.
Oh, excuse me. I say
K-Man.
I say Hawaii like Hawaiians do. I say K-Man like the Caymanians do.
Yeah, I'm sure they really
I say
appreciate that.
cigarettes like the British do, and I got into a lot of trouble for that.
How do they say it?
I can't even say it anymore.
Yeah,
you almost canceled me.
Yeah, you canceled.
So, dude,
starts with an F.
So, MJ, MacDill doesn't have a power to blow hurricanes out of its path.
of course, it's interesting. Fodder.
What? Whose father?
I mean, on the conspiracy theory morning show, it's interesting. Today we're going to talk about Air Force bases and how they blow.
Wow, what a surprise! If Fester's saying something again, the fatometer.
Yeah, I thought we entertain around here and throw out crazy things.
Listen, I have no Fester. First of all, you're turning into the grump of all time. You're the grump who stole Christmas.
You know what?
Fester's getting grump. Roxanne, I have no problem with you bringing that up. I don't think MacDill has any kind of technology to what? What'd you say?
What did you say?
Swoosh off the hurricanes or whatever.
Swoosh is my word.
Yeah, all right.
But listen,
General, we must deploy the swooshers. Yes.
It's good fodder.
Turn on the swooshers to number 11.
Is it good mutter?
Yeah, the Air Force Base didn't use this technology when it hit Eglin Air Force Base or what Homestead back in the 90s.
We're getting a lot of texts on this.
No.
I mean, yes, we are.
No. I'm not denying you're getting a lot of texts. I'm just saying that they don't have technology to push hurricanes away from South Tampa.
If they did, they wouldn't tell us.
All right, moving along.
Someone said McDill does it, and Epcot might as well.
What?
Epcot might do it as well.
Oh, the big ball at
Yes.
Epcot? All right, so here we go. Let's move along here. A lovely Florida story. I thought I'd share this with you. Well, there was a bit of a tiny taunt that has put a felon back in jail because this man beat his ex after she texted about the size of his
What?
His map.
Ego?
No, let me give you the details.
Yeah, she texted him about it.
Yeah, let me give you the
I can't
Smoking
connect it
Gun
out.
has this thing. Florida guy behind bars on battery and burglary charges after allegedly attacking a former girlfriend who taunted him via text about having a little penis.
How small?
I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
According to the arrest affidavit, police. What did you say,
I
Roxanne?
said,
how small?
How small?
I don't
Get into the specifics. Like,
well, let me read the rest of the story. Police allege that Rashad McGriff, 30 years old, punched and choked the victim earlier this week after showing up uninvited at her home over in Vero Beach. McGriff has a lengthy rap sheet currently on
not a lengthy something else.
Oh, nice. Burn. Physical burn.
Has a lengthy rap sheet currently on probation following a conviction in March for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. McGriff, the victim, told police is the father of her 3 children. Well, I was obviously big enough for that. Investigators say that the 42-year-old woman was in her bed when McGriff got into the house, which he has no commitments to. McGriff then allegedly punched the woman in the face, choked her, obstructed her ability to breathe temporarily. The woman, who was bleeding from the bridge of her nose, told police that she had texted McGriff a photo of someone else's penis and advised Rashad that he had a little penis. McGriff did not respond to those texts. Just showed up at the house and punched her and choked her. McGriff, I'm looking at.
Talk about my wiener, I'll take a bite out of her.
McGriff, the crime dog. Gonna take a bite out of your face for talking about my small wiener. Ow.
Jeez.
This is insane. So, investigators say that she was in bed. He comes in, attacks her. She's bleeding. McGriff didn't respond to the small penis text, just showed up and pummeled her.
So he didn't try to give any feedback and send her a pic back to substantiate it.
Well, hold on a minute. She obviously knows because she has 3 kids with this guy.
I know, but she's...
And his wang. Now, McGriff then left the woman's home before the cops arrived, but he was picked up. He's listed as a cook in jail records. That's his job. He was arrested, booked. He's scheduled for arraignment on battery and burglary charges in October. Judge ordered McGriff to have no contact with the victim. The woman previously sued McGriff 3 times for failure to pay child support. So there's nothing here on the actual size, Roxanne, which apparently you're very interested in that.
Grower, not a shower.
Oh, Roxanne, maybe.
I mean, I think, I am. I'll say that.
Just trying.
What are you mumbling about over here? All right, so Roxanne, what are you getting at?
No, we always need more information when we're doing these kinds of stories.
It's true.
What additional information you want?
There's one very important piece missing here.
I don't have the inches, if that's what you're getting at.
I would have liked.
It's not in the story, Roxanne.
That's what we were trying to figure out.
If the Associated Press would have just included the photo, then we could have oh yeah, she's right.
Well. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do not have any additional information about the guy's thing.
Any last thoughts, McGriff, the crime dog?
Take a bite out of crime and a bite out of my wiener.
I mean, what, Roxanne? What would you consider? Hold on, what I just missed?
McGriff, the crime dog, say take a bite out of wiener.
Did you say take a bite out? You said take a bite out of wiener?
Man, you just don't listen to McGriff.
No, I do.
He left. He's pissed.
I'm out of here.
Okay, say it again.
No, it has no. He just said, "I'll take a bite out of your wiener." That's it.
Thank you.
All right.
Cool.
Yes, Roxanne.
I think Mr. McGriff just saved you from going down a very pervy road with me.
No,
so.
go ahead.
All right. Well, I won't.
Right.
No.
Listen, you were the one that asked how big.
I
don't know.
I was just trying to get more information about this case.
She's a facts-based broadcaster.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of kind of, odd and weird situations, I saw a story that the number of foreign objects. What are you mouthing over there?
Because you're still talking. You know how you're like, Roxanne, don't talk over me. You were talking still, so I mouthed it to myself.
What did you mouth? I
said, I saw that story too.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So nearly 4,000 people were hospitalized in the United States last year because of foreign objects up their butt.
Dude, I follow a guy on YouTube Shorts, right? He does these little quick YouTube videos about, he's like, hi, I'm a doctor, and this is what people put inside themselves, and he'll show the x-ray, and it's amazing.
Yeah, nearly 4,000 people hospitalized with foreign objects up their butt. This is according to a new study published in the American Journal of Emergency Medicine.
That sounds like a real journal.
Well, because the bulk of people with stuff that's shoved up their butt end up in the emergency room. In fact, I don't want to give out too many details, but I have, I know several emergency room physicians, and this goes back maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. A physician friend of mine, there was no name, so I didn't know who it was. I had no idea, who the individual was, but I was shown an x-ray of a small, compact, fluorescent light bulb up somebody's butt.
That is so risky.
What?
You light up my life? I don't know.
Wow.
No, but seriously, we're at dinner. We are out to dinner, and it's like, hey, you want to see this? And it's they pull out their phone. They had taken their camera phone and took just a picture of the X-ray off of the X-ray reader, with the illuminated background, and you can see this thing shoved up a light bulb up their butt. What are you thinking? But this is a real deal. This is a real story from the American Journal of Emergency Medicine. Researchers at the University of Rochester in New York. They were, very interested in this condition, and they decided to look at emergency reports to analyze data from 2012 to 2021. The study said to be the first nationally representative data on rectal foreign objects in the United States found 38,948 emergency department visits over that time period, and then almost 4,000 just last year for people putting stuff up their butt that shouldn't be up their butt. All right.
Okay, so this is interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I just met him, and he was telling me he's a retired EMT firefighter. And so I'm like, oh, what are some of the crazy stories you can tell me? And that was his first go-to thing, that a lot more people get stuff stuck up their butt than you would even realize. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I was looking for.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
I think we got a good ISO on that.
Look, it looks like someone's got a hairdryer. Fester's looking at some x-rays, and it's like a hairdryer. And the cord is up there as well.
Yeah, they got the whole thing.
My God.
That's Buzz Lightyear up there.
Someone shoved a Buzz Lightyear doll up there?
I found a YouTube channel, or YouTube. I have a YouTube video here that has the top.
Talk about to infinity and beyond.
Top 17 things.
Oh, my.
17 insane things found in a butt. And it goes from car keys to cell phones to toys and sunglasses.
Okay, a texter just said, I had a patient one time had an apple stuck up there.
You know what they say, an apple a day.
You know what? Didn't work.
The funny part is he told them that he didn't know how it got there.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea how this apple got up my butt.
Did fall on an apple seed a few months ago.
Well, I did have a date with Johnny Appleseed last night.
Johnny Appleseed.
Hold on.
Johnny Appleseed.
Dr. John is on the phone from Brooksville. Dr. John, welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
How are you?
We're doing well, John. Go ahead.
Well, one night I was working in the emergency room, and we had a guy come in to be examined, and went to see him, and he said, well, my fiance and I got a little carried away, and the next thing I know, I had this bowling pin stuck up my butt.
Oh, wait a minute, bowling pin?
So I said...
Picked up the spare.
A little carried away. He goes, oh, yeah. So I strapped on a glove.
Oh, right. Listen, wait a minute. I don't know if we need any full details here. Are you talking about a regulation like AMF or Brunswick bowling pin?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I looked at him. I said, well, I got to try and get it out. He goes, what are you trying to do? I said, I got to see if I can reach it. He said, don't bother. My fiance, my brother, my sister-in-law all already tried.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on.
Hold on. So the whole pin was not visible?
The whole thing. We had to do an X-ray. You could see it.
Wait a minute. So, how did he had to go in for surgery?
Yeah, he had to go to the OR to get it extricated.
Oh, my God. A bowling.
Was his last name Munson?
Oh, my God. Wow.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. John.
It's a 7-10 split if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
I have to say, I love my texters, but I'm kind of hating them right now because
Why?
I kind of am going to be sick or pass out.
No, don't.
Reading some of these.
Don't share. I'm moving on.
Okay.
In fact, we got to talk about some. I don't know. I'm trying to just shift gears.
Just a clean break.
Just anything else.
Yeah, don't share any of the texts with me. But no, this is a real deal, and there's a whole medical journal report on this. 4,000 people with emergency room visits in the United States last year.
It's an epidemic.
How'd you like to research that for a living?
Yeah. What did you do at work today? Oh, I researched stuff up, whatever.
Just check out One Guy, One Jar.
This is kind of a segue of sorts. A customer at a restaurant is very aggravated. This happened in Oregon. A couple's out for dinner, and they're looking at the check after dinner before paying, and there was an additional charge on the bill. Now, we've talked about this. We've talked about some restaurants are putting additional charges on. Remember, we've talked about a health care charge so we can provide health care for our servers. Sometimes you'll see this in New York a lot, and I don't know if it's kind of crept into the situation here in the Tampa Bay area, but some of the charges are they're blatant now. It's like 4% credit card fee. I'm a fan of, listen, if you've got increased costs, go ahead and just raise the item $1 or whatever. Just raise my steak $1. Raise the side dish by $1, whatever. Instead of having the appearance of nickeling and diming people by adding all these charges. So I know I've seen the credit card fee put on. I've seen health care fees put on. There are, I think when fuel went up, I think there were gas surcharge sometimes placed on. So we've seen, are you ready for this one?
Sure.
I haven't seen this one before. A couple apparently had a $15 a-hole charge on their check.
Huh?
Yes, exactly what I said.
That thing ate too?
Listen,
but if you split a meal, we're going to charge you double.
A couple is in Beaverton, Oregon. They're at the Westgate. They're at the Westgate Bourbon Bar and Tap House in Beaverton, Oregon. And on their check, they had the tab, and I can read you the tab, fried chicken, $18.
Okay.
Carbonara, $25. Brown butter cake, $10. Side ice cream, $3.
Jeez.
Lenalicious 13. That sounds like it's another dessert. And then the last item on the check is You're a Bleep Hole, and it's $15. The last item on the check says You're a Bleep Hole, and it's the actual word. A-S-S-A. It's the actual word. You're a Bleep Hole, and a $15 charge.
Dude, if they can legitimately charge you for that, my bills would be through the roof.
What the? I never heard of this.
That can't be real, right?
I don't know. Listen, it's a real story. I'm looking at the check. The man saw the charge before, paying, and then I guess told them to take the You're a Bleep Hole charge off the bill.
I want you to know I'm a schmuck, and I won't pay more than $5 for how I am.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not that.
he says this is a Reddit post. My wife and I went to the restaurant for her birthday. We both had cocktails. So one of those might be a cocktail. And then if you look at the bottom, there was a birthday comp. So there was a $10 birthday comp, but they still had a $5 additional charge if you take the $10 comp away for the You're a Bleep Hole $15 charge. We've seen these before. We've seen like some nasty things written like on like pizza delivery receipts, or sometimes like the server will put a note on it. Thanks for being a real jerk or something. We've seen that before.
Well, can't they be more creative about it? Like, You're a cocktail charge.
Yeah, there you
Very
go.
end. Make like a drink.
You're
And
a bitch. Oh, wait, it doesn't work.
That would be. I mean, they make it so obvious.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Just hold the phone.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a texter.
Right.
Who texted me on my personal line.
Right.
Who
At
said-
813-310-8444.
Feel free to text anytime.
All texts are always welcome.
Right.
Who said it might be the name of a drink at the place.
Yeah, that could be.
Like this place
That's what
is
I like. You're a cocktail.
Yeah, like the restaurant's too hip for their own good, and they want to like the Lenalicious is a drink, and the You're a Bleep Hole is a drink.
And they code them
I
that
never
way.
heard of a bar that has a drink. You're a Bleep Hole.
This could be the one.
Bartenders, please.
Hey, round the You're a Bleep Holes for everybody.
Yeah, Sex on the Beach.
Let me think. Is You're a Bleep Hole in the Kamikaze Red Apple song?
All right, moving
I want to
on.
hear the song.
Hold on.
No, it's too soon.
Moving along, and this is alcohol related as well, so it's a nice segue here if it is an actual drink. If you purchase Kirkland brand vodka and it tastes and smells terrible, they will give you your money back.
All right, so I've always heard that Costco labeled alcohol is a reasonably decent grade.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Costco is, so if you purchase Kirkland brand, and I've been very happy with Kirkland products. I buy a number of Kirkland products when I shop at Costco. But Costco is offering refunds on Kirkland vodka because there were complaints over the smell and the taste, and they've taken multiple lots of their very popular Kirkland brand vodka off the shelves because customers are saying that it tastes awful. I think vodka I'm not a vodka fan.
Me neither.
I'm a whiskey, bourbon guy, red wine guy, but I'm not into vodka. Costco admitted that recent batches of Kirkland Signature American vodka sold between June 12th and August 10th did not meet the company's standards for quality. Why? Because it smelled and tasted like crap. It is. Listen to their little announcement here. It has come to our attention that the taste profile of units marked with certain lot codes may not have met the expected profile normally consistent with this product. While not a food safety issue, this does not meet our quality expectations. So what could you possibly do wrong with the vodka? What is it, like fermented potatoes? How do they make vodka these days? Are they using grains? Are they using the old Russian potato method? I don't even know.
I mean,
I know how to make whiskey and bourbon and all that stuff, but I've been to distilleries and thinking about maybe, starting my own whiskey brand. But
yeah, that'd be smart.
Yeah,
because it's not a very active market at all.
No. The latest,
very underserved.
Yeah.
Hey, you, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. So, that's tequila. Costco acknowledged the substandard vodka last week, according to Nexstar. One customer who complained on Reddit said the vodka tasted terrible. Others alleged that it was hardly drinkable and had a horrible odor. What the hell
The normal vodka smells bad anyway. I wouldn't be able to tell.
But what did they do to the vodka?
So traditionally, potatoes were used for vodka.
Yeah,
but lately, nowadays,
that's why I said, is it now grain produced?
Yeah, corn, rye, wheat, molasses, or sorghum.
Sorghum.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorghum could be seaweed.
Seaweed vodka.
So if anyone got the bad tasting vodka and bad smelling vodka at Costco, you can take it back. They'll give you your money back. And listen, that's kind of the deal with anything you get at Costco. I mean, you could eat the whole damn thing and return the empty package. They'll give you your money back.
That's true.
And Fester, you had a TV. You returned to what? Sam's Club, right?
Well, yeah. I was within my window of returning it.
With no box, no packing material. You just rolled the damn thing in.
I just put it on one of those big
take
big
it
carts.
back.
I took it back.
And this is because your wife said it was too big?
No, she didn't like the way the controller functioned.
Oh, that's right. She didn't like the remote control.
The remote control had the controller we have now has like 4 buttons on it and like a disc, which she really likes. And the other one had like 100 buttons on it. And she's like, this controller sucks. Let's
take the TV back.
Take it back.
There is a nationwide emergency alert coming. We'll get to that in just a bit. I have Trader Joe's has another recall. What is going?
More rocks?
Another recall at Trader Joe's. We'll get to that here in just a bit. Oh, the 5 best rock bands of all time. Wait till you see this list.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, wait till you hear this. And then, oh man, I've got a Finders Keepers story that you've got to hear. Finders Keepers.
Oh, no. So that means it's also a Losers Weepers?
I guess to a certain extent,
it has to be. If it's a Finders Keepers, then it is definitely somewhere in the world of Losers Weepers.
Yeah, all right, hold on to that thought. Ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, clearly we are loaded here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105, so stand by. We're back. MJ Morning Show on Q105, and I think we could use a bright, sunshiny day, which, listen, sun's out, bunch of clouds in the sky. I had some pretty heavy rain on the way in this morning. I don't know if you experienced it, but, Michelle even called me. I roll out of the house at about 5:15, and I'm driving to work, and Michelle calls me, I just got scared. Is it pouring rain? I'm like, yeah. I think I'm having worse rain on the drive in than during the brush by with the hurricane yesterday.
Yeah, I got it coming in as well, and it was the worst rain for me of the week.
Yeah.
And it was just one power cell.
Yeah, I had just torrential rain coming over the Howard Franklin Bridge and leaving my neighborhood, a little after 5 o'clock this morning. So are those still like remnant cells of this damn thing?
Mostly it's clear in the area. Like I said, that was just an isolated cell, really strong, but it moved over the bridge through Tampa and then into like Plant City.
Fester just brought up some images from Eye on Tampa Bay, which it's a cool social media site, IONTB, and they've got pictures. And was the video from them as well?
Yeah, everything I got is from. It's the only person I see reporting images of it.
Yeah, a Tesla. That looks like a Model Y.
Could be.
And that's the one that your wife has.
Looks like a Model Crispy.
It is. It's extra crispy. Pinellas Park Fire just put out a Tesla fire. This thing is burned to the ground. So in Pinellas Park, a Tesla, which apparently was exposed to water from Hurricane Idalia. There must have been encroachment into the batteries, and that's one of the. Remember, we talked about this. We talked about Teslas and electric cars catching on fire that had water incursion because of the hurricane. I think salt water is even worse than fresh water in this case, but I think either can do it. But this happened at 66th and Park area?
Yeah, like a block off of 66th.
Looks like 65th Way. It's right next to Wendy's.
That's a Burger King.
Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, it's which is flame broiled
right there.
Yeah.
What street was it? What is it?
66th and Park
that's
area.
Fester. What is it?
66.
Can you say 66th?
66.
And you know what? He gets on me about my soft lisp.
You kids.
66th Street.
No, but seriously, it's right next to a Burger King, and flame broiled. That's what they're known for at Burger King. They could have just rolled the burger patties out to the street and cooked them right there. Got the new flame broiled Tesla burgers.
Oh, those would fly off.
But man, these car fires, and we've heard just nightmare stories. I remember there was some story from California where a Tesla caught on fire. I think it was a Model S. And it took them like 4 hours and like 40,000 gallons of water to put the damn thing out. So we just called Roxanne's bro. Roxanne's brother's a chief with Pinellas Park Fire. And he couldn't come on the air with us because it's got to go through the PIO, the public information officer, blah, 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 blah. All this
He's by the book.
all this red tape municipality crap, which I don't like playing by those rules. Or any rules for that matter. But he just said that the fire is out, but the fire truck is going to follow the Tesla once they get it all jacked up on some kind of Jordan flatbed, and they're going to take it to wherever they take burned out cars, junkyard, whatever. Here's the deal. Roxanne's fire chief brother just said the fire truck is going to follow the wrecker with the charred skeleton of this burned out Tesla because it could ignite at any time again. He said in 4 days, he said this thing could catch back on fire.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Oh my God, it's like when you kill a snake and it just won't die.
Yeah, or like Michael Myers from the Halloween movies.
Or that.
Yeah.
Like a serial killer.
Can't you just submerge the Tesla, just throw it in like a pool or something?
No, let's try some. Let's drive yours over some salt
Yeah,
water.
I'll tell you what, let's run your Tesla down a boat ramp.
That'd be awesome.
See what happens.
I'd be all for it. I'll take it for a drive.
Yeah, Fester's got a 2010 Cadillac, but Allison just had to have that Tesla Model Y.
Oh, she loves it.
Anyway, this thing was like totally engulfed. And if you look at the image, go back. Again, this is from Eye on Tampa Bay. It is a burned out hull. I mean, it's a that's it. I mean, the car burned to the ground. You got the A-pillar and the B pillar are still there, but this thing is just gutted. I mean, you almost can't even tell what kind of car it is, but we do know it's a Tesla.
But just by the virtue of there being no engine burning up, I can tell you what
it looks like it's it's on the road. Is that 65th Way?
Yeah.
Which is right in between the Burger King there and the Alexander Pharmacy. So luckily, it didn't torch any of the businesses. But this thing, I think it was being towed, right? And the tow truck, it was probably on fire on the back of the tow truck. And the tow truck driver, it seemingly just dumped it quickly so his tow truck didn't burn to the ground with a burning Tesla on top.
We were talking about garbage trucks a couple of weeks ago that have hot loads.
Oh, yeah.
This is a tow truck driver with a hot load.
Yeah, they dump. If a trash truck has a trash fire, they call it a hot load. And they just dump the load right in the street because they don't want the fire truck to go up in the garbage truck to go up in flames. Yes, do I hear Elon Musk trying to make his way in?
Speaking of the hot loads, yes. I did try to build the Teslas to be flame retarded. I see that it did not work very well.
Dude, you're going to get us canceled.
So, what I say that the cancellation will take place?
Flame retardant. Yeah. Not flame retardant.
Is that the word?
Yes, Elon.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, yes, I worked on this very, very, very hard. And I see that it caught another fire.
Yes, thank you, Elon. Yes.
Elon, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What if a Tesla catches on fire on a car-carrying ferry? Like the
what
ones
did
in
you
Seattle?
call me?
I mean,
a ferry.
You mean the boat?
Not a ferry.
Oh, my goodness.
Like the ones in Seattle.
Everything will go up into flames. As soon as the Tesla touches the salt water, it goes...
That's one of the issues here with some of these electric cars. You could be in your damn garage and just, the battery has like a runaway chain reaction deal.
So electric boats are out of the question?
Hang on a minute. Who's on the phone, Andrew? So GW is a listener in Pinellas Park, just drove by it.
Mr. Washington.
GW, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hi, MJ. I just drove by. I've never seen a car burnt so low to the ground before, and there's nothing left but whatever could be left, I guess.
So you just drove by this how many minutes ago?
About 5 minutes ago.
What a great advertisement for Tesla.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to be taking a right and going back by it again because I have to do that to go to the next area I'm going to.
Gotcha. It'd be great if you could climb inside where the driver's seat was and get a selfie in there. Could you do that for us?
Let me get my window up.
A country recommends such things.
Yeah, listen, GW, seriously, in all I need one of the valve stem covers off of the tire.
Dude, that's going to be burned. It's going to be melted. It's gone. It can't. What are you missing? A valve stem cap from your Tesla?
So I had to fill one of the.
Get you a souvenir, you guys, without getting arrested. I'll get it for you.
Thank you, GW.
How's it like having the wooden teeth?
All right, thank you, GW. Have a great one. Thanks for checking in.
So like 2 weeks ago, I had to put some air in one of Allison's tires, and I did, and I forgot the valve stem cover at the air pump.
Yep.
And she started bitching about it. You lost my valve stem cover.
Dude, it's a plastic.
No, not the Tesla.
The Tesla
they're
ones
expensive.
Are they metal?
Yeah. So I was at the Tesla store at International Plaza.
Yeah. What do they want? $12 for a new cap?
I don't know how much they wanted for them.
I
just took it right off.
Dude, no.
Yeah, they got a black.
Wait, no. Wait a minute. You lost one of the valve covers, one of the valve caps
on my Tesla. Yeah,
you were at International Plaza. You went into the Tesla store. You just stole it off their floor model.
They have like a black Y, the exact same car we have.
Call the store now. You're taking money from my pocket.
Yes, I take it right from
Elon. What do you think?
I can't believe it. She's taking food out of my baby's mouth.
Yeah, you're worth what? $80 billion, 150, whatever he's worth. $150 billion, $200 billion.
Oh my God! I'm going to call that store and report you.
Report me.
Oh, man. Fester, you've just admitted to stealing a valve cap off of a Tesla at International Plaza.
Come at me. Put me in front of a jury of my peers.
I'm calling him right now. What's the number?
I'm not gonna. I don't know.
International.
Moving along here, folks. We're looking at a nationwide all-device emergency alert, which could scare the bejesus out of people. I bet you many of you haven't even heard about this yet, but the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, And the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, they have announced that the organizations are scheduling a nationwide test of the emergency alert system and wireless emergency alerts at approximately 2:20 p.m. on Wednesday, October 4th. So heads up on this. In early October, every freaking device is going to be tested and alerted, and everything's going to go off nationwide at the same time. So it sounds like phones, cable boxes, TVs, radio stations, TV stations, they're going to do like a coordinated test. So try not to get all freaked out. It's going to be directed at all consumer cell phones, and then EAS is going to all radio and TV stations. So about 2:20 p.m. on Wednesday, October 4th, nationwide test where everything's going to be going, buzzing and going off with emergency tests. Yeah, Andrew.
Didn't they try this before and failed?
I don't know if they tried a nationwide test with everything, but there was a story in Florida maybe 8 months ago or so that a test alert was issued like at 2 a.m. And the governor got super pissed.
Yeah, they did it. Yeah, you're right. I remember that. And then I also remember that dumbwad, Bobby Bones. Remember?
Please. I hate that guy.
Elon hates Bobby Bones.
His show's so boring. I have to listen to it when I'm working in the factory. It put me in snooze mode.
Okay. So, no, that Bobby Bones, they did a radio bit where they played the real emergency when you hear us do a test, like,
is that true? I thought that was
no. Like 5 years ago, they did a bit and they played real tones over the air, and that tripped other radio stations because he has a syndicated show, and stations all over the country were replaying the tones that they were playing as part of a radio bit. And I think they got fined $1 million for that. Seriously. I think iHeart got fined $1 million for that stunt.
I pay $1 million a day not to have to hear the doo-doo on the radio.
Dude,
they do.
You paid $44 billion for that platform Twitter that you're tubing.
I'm going to start calling all Tesla stores and doing checks and see how the manufacturing's doing.
Andrew, did you get the FedEx video from the Ring doorbell camera? Is that up on the website? Did you get that up there yet? Andrew, can you turn on your microphone?
He's a busy man.
Yes, it's up there.
You did put it up. This is unbelievable. A FedEx ground driver was delivering an iPad to a house, and a guy was following the driver. The guy gets out of his white vehicle, follows the driver up the sidewalk, the pathway to the house.
Standing right next to the driver.
Yes. Yeah, grabs the package right out of the FedEx driver's hand before the FedEx driver can even drop it on the front porch. So typically, people wait. These porch pirate, these thieves, they wait for these deliveries to be made, or they cruise neighborhoods looking for all kinds of Amazon boxes, FedEx deliveries, UPS deliveries, and they'll rip stuff off. That's where the term porch pirate comes from. This scoundrel grabs the package right out of the FedEx person's hand as they're walking up to the house and then runs. This is crazy. This happened in Chesterfield, Virginia, which is outside of Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. So this is as brazen as it gets. Ring doorbell camera caught this, and you could see the guy's face. I mean, crystal clear. Plus, you can see they're driving, it looks like, is that a white, maybe an older white series, older white 3 Series BMW.
So the driver has no idea this person's behind him until the package is snatched.
Swiped. Swiper no swiping. Swiped it right out of their hands. The bandit just grabs the package, bolts off to his car in a white BMW 3 Series. This is unbelievable. The video's up. If you want to see this, it is brazen as can be. The video is up on mjmorningshow.com, and you'll see the section on the top of our page. Look for As Heard on the MJ Morning Show. As Heard on the MJ Morning Show, and the video should be the top item. And watch this guy rip the box out of the FedEx driver's hand, and inside, according to the homeowner, was like a $1,500 iPad, top of the line. I guess probably the 12-inch iPad Pro. I've got one of those.
Could they have known it was a nice? I mean, what if it was like copy paper? Like, did you know it was going to be something nice?
It's a really good point. It's almost like they knew. And I thought of this yesterday.
Of course you did.
No, but well,
they must have known, because it's not always you get delivered good stuff.
Listen, it could be a box of tampons coming. Who knows?
That's the excitement of the porch pirate, though. You never know. It's like opening up a can with no label on it. Could be peaches, could be SpaghettiOs. You don't know.
And a box of tampons could help with some of the flooding going on.
Extra absorbent.
Yeah.
So listen, I was in a meeting, and then the FedEx lady started knocking on my door really hard. The homeowner is Jessica Saenz. She was working from home, and she checks the surveillance video after the FedEx employee said, I just had a box ripped out of my hand, and it wasn't some kind of a scam wham book. Exactly what the FedEx driver said is what happened. And obviously, police are investigating. The video is crystal clear. Someone's going to identify the guy that stole the package.
I will say he did profile about the most out-of-shape FedEx driver I've seen in a while.
Yeah, that FedEx driver wasn't running.
I don't know who that is or what that is, but whatever it is, it's out of shape.
Yeah, not in great shape. But that package, I wonder almost if the guy that stole the package, if he knew by the type of box that it was an Apple shipment. But this video is nuts, folks. Again, go to our website, go to mjmorningshow.com. At the top of the page, look for the little box that says "As Heard on the MJ Morning Show," and then the link will be there to see the video. This is absolutely crazy. You ready for a finders, keepers, losers, weepers story? Let me know what you think about this.
We've been waiting for it.
Connecticut guy discovered a bag with $5,000 in cash lying in a parking lot. So he decided to keep the money. A bag with $5,000,
That's
right?
the move.
Well, guess what? 3 months later now, he's been charged with larceny.
Oh,
How?
Please.
Turns out the bag, which the Trumbull, Connecticut police said was clearly marked with a bank's insignia, was found outside the same bank, and it contained cash from the city of Trumbull, Connecticut's tax department for deposit. And the bag was dropped outside. Guy is in the bank parking lot, finds the bag, and just takes it. So is that finders keepers, or this guy has been charged with larceny for ripping off $5,000?
That's ridiculous.
What law was broken?
The man is Robert Withington, 56. He's from Trumbull, Connecticut. Robert, we won't stop for ice cream in Trumbull, Connecticut.
Give us the details.
Yeah. Anyway, he contends that he didn't steal the money and didn't notice anything inside the bag that indicated who the owner was. He said, "I didn't plan this out." He spoke to media in Connecticut. He said everything was in the moment, and it was like I hit the lottery. That was it. The Associated Press is trying to contact the guy to get some information. The money went missing back on May 30th. Police said that an employee in the Trumbull tax collector's office couldn't find the bag after arriving at the bank to make a deposit during regular business hours. According to a news release from the Trumbull, Connecticut Police Department, over the next several months, detectives obtained search warrants, reviewed multiple surveillance videos from local businesses, conducted numerous interviews before learning the bag had been inadvertently dropped on the ground outside of the bank. And then this dude, Withington, picked it up. He said, "I walked out into the parking lot, saw something on the ground. There was no one around, so I picked it up. It's not like I stole something. If I knew I was wrong in the first place, I would have given it right back. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong." Now, I'm not buying that. You're in a bank parking lot, and there's a bank bag with $5,000 inside. I would take that bag into the bank and say, "Guys, I just found this bank bag with cash out in the parking lot.
Okay, I would have kept the bag.
Yeah, of course you would have.
But I wouldn't go around saying, "Oh,
my God,
I didn't know I did anything wrong."
MJ, you want to hear a crazy story?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what Fester would have done, he would have called the bank after hitting star 67 on his cell phone and said, "Hey, I found a bag with $5,000 inside. Just want to let you know." Bye.
Thanks.
Click. Yep. That's it.
MJ,
Yes.
so one of my friend Zach back in the day, he went to the mall because he was going to buy tickets to a U2 concert,
right?
And he was in line with a bunch of his friends.
Yeah.
And it turns out when they were sitting in the food court, they found a box full of money. Right?
A box full of money in the mall food court.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably a deposit from one of the stores.
And it turns out, this is crazy. So they didn't know what to do with the money. They were like, should we keep it? Oh my God. And one of his friends, Lisa, was like,
Why do I sense a story coming? Why do I sense a gimmick? There's a gimmick coming. Frog, you're not smooth enough, man. You're taking too long. We got a gimmick.
It turns out, listen, it turns out they were on like a prank TV show the whole time.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? There's an episode of Saved by the Bell.
It's not even a real story.
It was an awesome episode of Saved by the Bell.
An episode of
You
Saved
guys
by the Bell.
never seen that one?
I missed it.
Frog, your tells are too easy for me,
I
man.
couldn't stop laughing. You guys were like, what? Really?
We're going with it until you're like, my friend Lisa Turtle.
So police tracked down this Withington guy. They said that he acknowledged being at the bank that day and taking the bag. He said he believed that he had no obligation to return the bag to the rightful owner. This dude runs a dog training business, and he said that he never had a criminal record and his customers can vouch for his integrity. But on Friday, he was charged with third-degree larceny, a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison and up to $5,000 in fines. He has been released from jail. He promised to appear in court on September 5th. He said, anyone who knows me knows I'm all about generosity. After living in this town for 20 years, I'm not looking for trouble. Listen, you find a bag with $5,000 in a bank parking lot. Come on. That just screams that somebody dropped this. You go inside it's not like you found it in a cornfield, while you're, burying Joe Pesci or something. All right, listen, it's, I mean, come on. It's not like you're on the side of the interstate and you find a bag and, oh, man, you're in a bank parking lot. Clearly, the bank is going to know whose money that is. You don't just... So I cannot give this guy a pass. This guy took the bag of money from a bank parking lot after it was inadvertently dropped. He had the obligation to go inside that bank and say, listen, I found this bag of money in your parking lot.
There's no legal obligation. I'm not going to charge him with third-degree grand larceny either.
I would have kept that thing.
How about
Fester, you?
I would have kept it.
MJ, let me guess.
What?
Honest MJ.
Listen, what this guy had to have done in the moment is he had to quickly analyze how many cameras could be potentially watching him.
Dude, you're such a wham-bam scam man.
Listen, if I find it in the middle of the cornfield, hello. If it falls off a truck on an interstate, cha-ching.
No, if it falls out of a bank truck, out of a Brinks truck, a Loomis Fargo truck.
Hello.
You can't pick up the bag. You got to wait for a car to hit it. So there's money everywhere. Then you start picking it up.
All right, 9:20 at the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. All right, so we've got another Trader Joe's recall. A couple of observations on TV coverage. I also have the Trip a Day song that we got to give away here, or make you aware of the Trip a Day song. So let's do that right now before we take the break. So your chance for the Trip a Day today is very easy. It's a very simple process. All you have to do is listen for this song to be played. It's guaranteed to play before 6 o'clock. So if you're the seventh caller, when you hear this song played at 800-990-1047, you're going to win a 3-day staycation at Captain Hiram's Resort in Sebastian. So today's song is As Long As You Love Me by the Backstreet Boys. So this is a very well-known and recognized Backstreet Boys song. So the song sounds Backstreet Boys, wait for that song to play sometime before 6. Be 7th caller, you win the trip to Captain Hiram's Resort in Sebastian. So good luck from the MJ Morning Show on Q105. All right, we got a lot of stuff. Final chunk of the program is next here on a Thursday in the aftermath of the little hurricane drill that we had. Hopefully that's it for the season, but man, statistical peak is just coming up on September 10th. And typically it's late September and October that's problematic for the Gulf of Mexico, and hence us being on alert. So 9:22 now, 9:22 MJ Morning Show, back in a second. All right, 9:29 at the MJ Morning Show. Final chunk of the MJ Morning Show this morning. So, for the most part, I think that we're beyond the hurricane action that we experienced. I'm just crossing my fingers that that's our brush for the year. But as we discussed earlier, statistical peak is coming up on September 10th. And historically, we've had to worry about later in September and October here in the Tampa Bay area. But that's enough for me. I just don't want one of these years where we're going through like the drill every couple of weeks, because that's going to suck. You know, roads are pretty much clear at this point. Like in my neighborhood, there's a lot of debris because our streets were flooded from Tampa Bay. So all kinds of crap. You know, I was speaking to a friend of mine who's TPD that actually sent me the picture of that pink pool raft or whatever that I said was pieces of the flamingo from the Tampa International Airport, Phoebe. And as he was cruising along like Ben T. Davis, after the water receded and you could start seeing the parking lot, the crap that was in Tampa Bay.
Dude, I found the stuff I found in my yard. I found a whiskey bottle in my yard.
That's what I'm saying. I've got like 4 mini bottles.
Yeah, me too.
Sir, I'm telling you.
What's up with that? Why is there so much whiskey?
I've got to go rake my front yard. So
I'm going to take pictures of all the treasures.
When I get home in just a little bit, well, I got to go work out. So I've got today's Thursday.
So the water did get in your yard.
Well, yeah, hang on a minute. I'm going to tell you. So here's the deal. I'm going to work out, and then I'm going to work out again. So I'm going to X-Force Body. I do that Mondays and Thursdays. I am so thrilled with my results at working out, at X-Force Body.
You actually look smaller.
No, I don't.
No, actually, you do look pretty buff.
I'm getting back in shape here. So when I'm going to work out right after the show, then I'm going home and I'm going to work out again. I gotta get a rake. I gotta ask a neighbor for a rake.
You don't have a rake.
No, I don't. I got lawn guys for that. So I've got to get a rake because the water from Tampa Bay came up on my street and brought all kinds of crap from the bay into my street. So the water never got over my seawall in my backyard. Okay. However, my front yard, the water was over the curb and a little bit up on my grass. So it's about 2 feet into my grass, and you can see the water line because you got that line of all like the crap that it just gets deposited as the water recedes. It leaves the line of junk. So I've got all kinds of, like plant life and old mulch and all kinds of junk. But I've got a couple of like Fireball whiskey bottles in my front yard. I gotta clean all this crap up.
One of my neighbors had a jellyfish in their yard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, what the? It looked like just a jellyfish.
That belongs in the bay, though.
Yeah, I know. But if you step on that thing,
the amount of crap I'm seeing, like in my backyard in Tampa Bay, I'm seeing pieces of like dock float by.
Yeah.
So people did lose chunks of their docks.
Pontoon boat flew and bashed into one of my neighbor's docks.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you got to be careful. If you're going boating in Tampa Bay, the amount of stuff that's been picked up and wrecked, like planks and wood.
A lot
and
of deadheads out there.
And boat docks. I'm telling you, a lot of docks got ripped apart. And they're going to be hazards out on the water, so you don't want to run into that crap in your nice boat.
I'll be out there this weekend.
But my friend with TPD was along the Courtney Campbell, and he said, "You won't believe the stuff that's floating up here. Just all kinds of buoys and just junk bottles, cans." He said he couldn't even count the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of like water bottles, plastic Zephyr Hills, all over the place. You have no idea the crap and the junk that's in Tampa Bay or in any of our water. You normally don't see it, but having it churned up and having the wave action and the surge coming in, it just deposited junk all over the place.
I got a couple lighters in my yard, a bunch of bobbers, fishing bobbers.
I'll tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. When I rake my yard, I'll take a picture of some of the interesting items.
Yeah,
a little treasure hunt.
I want to see. That's right.
I will post those on my social media a little later on when I do yard work, which I've never done.
Oh, you're going to hate it.
I'm just going to rake the crap off my grass. I don't know what's going on with Trader Joe's. I like Trader Joe's. Like I've said before, I've got about 8, 9, 10 go-to items that, Trader Joe's is not part of my regular shopping, but usually it's a once-a-week stop. I like the shelled English peas in the bag. I like those. I like that mutant cauliflower that they have.
Yeah, you can't stock everything from Trader Joe's.
Right, they've got those good Crown Prince smoked oysters, but they went from $2.99 to $3.49, so now they're cheaper on Amazon, believe it or not.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I like at Trader Joe's, but I don't know what's going on. This is like their now sixth recall in 5 weeks. So the latest now, they're recalling Texas Tamale Company's gourmet black bean tamales, and they also recalled the multi-grain crackers with sunflower and flax. We talked about that last week.
Yes.
So the latest now is Texas Tamale Company's gourmet black bean tamales.
Ugh.
Yeah, the tamales may contain undeclared milk.
Oh,
Ooh.
No rocks this time?
Yeah, so I'd rather have undeclared milk than chunks of rock or plastic or metal fragments. What about you?
Also, they had an issue with bug parts in something, right? Like something had
I'll eat a bug.
Like the soup, the unsuspecting soup, or had a funny name.
Yeah, I have the whole list. So over the last, 5 weeks or so, you have all these items at Trader Joe's. It just, I can't ever recall hearing this many items being recalled at Trader Joe's. So here's what's happened over the last couple of weeks. So the tamales now, the multi-grain crackers, we talked about those last week, but the other items are fully cooked falafel, the almond windmill cookies, and dark chocolate chunk almond cookies. Those had potential rocks.
Yes, those were. I think that was the first one.
Then the unexpected broccoli cheddar soup was recalled because it was unexpected that you might find bugs in it.
Ew.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the name of the soup is unexpected broccoli cheddar soup, which is very appropriate because it would not be expected. It would be very unexpected that I'd find bugs floating in my soup.
Not at this point, Trader Joe's. It's pretty expected.
I'm actually surprised when I bite into a cookie and there's not a rock there.
Yeah. So the cookies could have had rocks. The falafel recall was also the falafel might have rocks in it.
Well, the word awful, isn't it?
Come on, Trader Joe, get your rocks off my soup, would you please? And my crackers, would you please?
Is there any explanation to any of this?
No, it's just strange. I never recall Trader Joe's having this degree of recalls ever.
And this latest one is undeclared milk.
Yeah, undeclared milk, which I don't think, unless you have a really bad milk allergy, but I don't think anyone's going to die.
They need Robert Stack to hit the case. Unsolved Trader Joe's mysteries.
Yeah,
I can't do Robert Stack
right.
as good as you, MJ.
No. I'm Robert Stack. We are trying to unsolve the mysteries. I'm Robert Stack. Unsolved mysteries.
There's a good one.
Hey, I hope that guy that hates when I play this. I I hope the guy's not listening. Remember we had a guy that he violently reacted whenever I played the Ozempic jingle? Yeah, he threatened that he would change the station, never listen again. I hate it. Don't play the Ozempic jingle, whatever. Well, guess what? Now, Ozempic, they're saying, not only curbs your appetite and food cravings, but they're saying that Ozempic might also curb cravings for booze, cigarettes, and gambling. So if you're a compulsive gambler, you might want to take some Ozempic.
Oh, man.
What? Because it increases serotonin. Is that why?
Tell you what, Adam Sandler in that Uncut Gems, he should have been on Ozempic. He would have ended up with a bullet in his face.
Dude, spoiler alert. I was going to watch that tonight.
No, you weren't. That thing's been out for 2 years. What are you talking about? You've seen Uncut Gems.
Brother, I have a good Froggy Netflix recommendation when you have time.
Oh, great. Like what, The Platform, which Michelle and I watched, which was the worst damn thing.
This is actually good.
What?
Painkiller. The story.
Oh, the story about the Sackler family and Purdue Pharmaceutical.
It's real good.
Really,
Ferris Bueller's really good in it.
You know, they took the Sackler name like they have the Sackler wing at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. They took the whole signage down.
Give me my money back. You're taking my name down. If you like Netflix and sports, the University of Florida documentary is out.
Man, who gives a turkey about them?
It's pretty good. I saw the first episode yesterday. It gets you hyped up.
So just out of curiosity, is anybody on Ozempic listening right now, and you also had a really bad gambling problem? You're in a bunch of jams, and the Ozempic has curbed your gambling problem.
Ozempic essentially makes you a completely different person. You're not fat. You're not an alcoholic. You don't like to gamble or smoke.
It drains your personality and shoots it right down the turlet.
No kidding.
Straight up lobotomy.
Yeah, I always love that song. You ever you know the song that's based on, right?
Oh,
it's Magic.
Yeah, it's Magic by Pilot. I was a little kid when that. Hey, Andrew, do we have Pilot? Is Pilot in the system? The song Magic by Pilot. It's from like 1976 or 1970. I was like 10 years old, and I remember I was a little kid up in New York. I think it's just before we moved to Virginia Beach, and I would just wait for Music Radio 77 WABC. I was always waiting for play this song, Magic by Pilot on 77 WABC Degrees. Oh, ho, ho, it's magic. Yeah, so that's it. No, seriously. And they by the way, they had that much reverb on 77 WABC.
Harry Harrison there?
Yeah, Harry Harrison.
Wow.
Well, if you think you hate your life when you're not on Ozempic, you're going to hate it more when you're on it.
I'll tell you right now, when Harry Harrison was still alive, he was a morning guy for years on WABC in New York. And when I was doing mornings on WOR, Harry Harrison would write me. And he'd like...
Ew, what a creep.
No, what are you talking about?
Hey, it's Harry Harrison. What are you wearing right now, Humpy?
No, I'm serious. It was like full circle. I listened to this guy when I was a little kid, and then he's now calling me.
I listened to you when you were a little, when I was a little kid, and now you're a complete... to me every day. That's myself.
You're so un-Harry Harrison.
So Ozempic, hey, it seems like it's good for just dulling everything.
Man, how's that stuff even legal still?
Guess what? If I took it, I would probably sound like a test tone on the morning show.
Sound like Stephen Wright.
Welcome to the Test Tone Morning Show.
MJ Morning Show. Why is it the best rock bands of all time, according to this stupid Study Finds thing? Everyone is British. You're telling me
the British rock scene was in.
Oh, come on. So, number 5. This is the biggest rock bands of all time.
All right.
Or is it the best? The best. The best rock bands of all time.
Such crap.
Number 5 is
subjective.
Number 5 is Pink Floyd, and I like Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is genius. I love Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's fantastic. But Pink Floyd is number 5. Number 4 is Led Zeppelin. I like some Led Zeppelin. I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin fan. I'll do a little Stairway to Heaven.
I'm more of a fan of actual Zeppelins.
All right, made
of lead.
Number 3 is Queen. I love Queen. Is fantastic.
Queen's great.
Never heard of them.
Queen is fantastic. Number 3. Number 2, the Rolling Stones. There are plenty of Stones songs that I love. Talented. And then number 1, the Beatles. So
I'd have to agree with that.
The Beatles are number one, but there's no You're telling me
no Beach
that
Boys?
Out of the top 5 best rock bands, that there's no American band? It's all British bands? Come on.
Can we stop with the Beatles as the greatest band of all time?
I'm tired of the Beatles.
Seriously.
We ought to just erase the Beatles with a big neuralizer.
Ugh.
No, I'm kidding. I
can't believe, is Turd Burger 2000 on the list?
Turd Burger, what is that?
It's a really good rock band. You should check them out.
Yeah. What else do we have? I think that's about it. Andrew, you got to get this video. We'll post this up on mjmorningshow.com in the section that says, as heard on the MJ Morning Show. There is video. Fester, bring this up so you guys can see this. Did you see the car get picked up by a tornado and flipped and thrown on another car up in Goose Creek, South Carolina?
No.
Yeah, this is crazy stuff. So 2 people suffered minor injuries yesterday. This is on US 52 in Goose Creek, South Carolina, just outside of Charleston. And this car, a Honda Accord, was traveling when a gust of wind lifted the car and flipped it onto another vehicle. That was no gust of wind. That was a freaking little microburst or a tornado or something. It is crazy. Bring up the video because it is absolutely insane. And luckily, there were just minor injuries. But that car was picked up and thrown in the air. That's not just a gust of wind.
Yeah, it's something a lot more than that.
Yeah. That was certainly some kind of little mini tornado that just popped up. All right, guys. Anything else before we get out of here today? It just feels good to kind of get back to normal. I hope we don't have any more hurricane shows for the rest of this year. Please.
Me too. Hopefully that was it.
Please. And, one of the other observations, that I said I was going to make is, a lot of the TV stations did a very good job. The coverage on the TV stations, the reporters all over the place. But again, what was really showcased, and I watched more local TV in the last couple of days than I've watched in a long time. And I've complained about this, the number of green reporters, and it's every channel. Every channel has reporters that are reporting live and, street reporters that just don't belong in this market yet. They might be good in 5 or 8 years after they work in much smaller markets and cut their teeth. But I was just amazed. Every single channel has reporters that are just not ready for, a top 15 market. What is Tampa, like number 12, 13, 11, whatever? This is a big market. We got over 3 million people, and some of the reporters are just, yeah, you ought to be in Sioux Falls or something for, 5 years and, try to get a little better.
And look at you judging.
Listen, I'm just saying that there's a lot of green talent that's been showing up on the quality of local TV news has gone downhill big time, is what I'm saying. And they're just reporters that, hey, some of them I don't think will ever get good, and they're in a major market like this, and some of them are terrible.
Hal Herbert here, and I agree.
And you're available, right?
That's right. I still have my tape from Whammo Doo.
All right, you're reel. Show us your sizzle reel.
Sizzle.
Yeah.
Sizzle reel.
All right, we're out of here, folks. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow for the Friday show here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. You need to get a hold of me. I'm MJ at MJMorningshow.com. My Instagram feed is Certified MJ Radio. You can DM me there as well. Folks, we'll see you back here tomorrow, and let's be careful out there.